rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallahu khairan. You sound like a crowd that they didn't have biryani and pizza. So one more time, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Actually, you probably do sound like a crowd that has biryani and pizza because you probably are in food coma, mashallah. That was some really good biryani. I'm your typical Hyderabadi, so I enjoy a good plate of biryani. And I appreciated the lunch that we had. So Jazakallahu khairan, and I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but once again, to create more energy in the room, I request assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Jazakallahu khairan, Jazakallahu khairan. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you for any funds. Some of you know me as a fundraiser. That's not why we're here today. Alhamdulillah, we begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We begin by sending salawat and salam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us Muslims. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for making us amongst the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we thank Allah azza wa jal for this mubarak and blessed opportunity to sit together as family, friends, and community. And so I have the great of being your host and MC for this beautiful and auspicious occasion. And I'm absolutely indebted to the madrasa for calling me up for this occasion. And when the call came, I had told my family, my spouse, my children, whatever we have planned on Saturday in class is done, I'm here. And I only do that for certain people and places. And this is one of those places. That when a call comes from Mana Salman and Mana Bidla, whatever is going on in my life, I drop it in a heartbeat. And that is only out of the love and the respect and the indebtedness that I feel to them. When they call me for anything, I try to respond. And that is because, by way of introduction, I'm a former student myself. Years ago, alhamdulillah, I was blessed to study in the company of Maulana Abdurrahman, Maulana Saad, in terms of my Hifz teachers. I had a chance to study I'm not a complete alim, but I had a chance to study Hifzi with Maulana Sulaiman and Maulana Ubaidullah Saab. May Allah bless them and preserve them. And I'm not sure if any of the young Hifz students here ever had the chance or the blessing and the unique opportunity to actually have Hazrat Maulana Salim Saab sit in on a Hifz class. Alhamdulillah, there was a couple of my sabak that I took from him, some of my Dora sabak and stuff was recited to him, so blessed to even have that moment. Jazakallah khairan to everyone for coming out here tonight. And as I said, alhamdulillah, I was a student here many years ago, and alhamdulillah, IME has always had a special place in my heart and my mind. And so to be here again like this, it means the world to me, alhamdulillah. So I'm delighted tonight, this afternoon, to introduce us throughout an afternoon filled of excitement. And that is through the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are going to hear some recitations of the Quran. We're going to hear short reminders from the students. And throughout the afternoon, it is going to be an opportunity for the young students, mashallah, to showcase some of their tilawat, to showcase some of the depth of their knowledge, and just give us a little taste of what has been happening here over the last few years. And in particular, this is the first graduation after 2019. Of course, everyone knows because of COVID situation and the madrasa and the communities weren't able to gather. So alhamdulillah, you're going to see quite a few students graduate today in terms of their hifz and also in their iftar group as well. And so we're going to be excited by that for all of us. And lastly, by way of introduction, this afternoon is an opportunity for us to be excited and celebrated. And I want us to have that mindset and that feeling, because what these young students have accomplished is after years of hard work and effort. And there is the element of the parents who, through their du'as and their sacrifices, today's a day for you to celebrate and to be happy. There's an element, of course, of the teachers. It's their hard work and teaching through the background that they themselves get to be happy and joyful that this is my student today. And number three, of course, us as a community will benefit from these huffaz and these ulama that will then go out into the communities. And IIE has produced huffaz and ulama over the years already that is doing so much khidmah throughout the communities. Without fail, you probably prayed a Jummah or a Eid or some gathering behind a graduate of IIE, either in their hifz or in their alim area. And they continue to serve and they continue to excel in their, what we say, secular or dunyawi pursuits as well. And so inshallah today we get a little bit of showcase of these young, mashallah, graduates, both on the hifz and the alim side. With that introduction, my name is Azam Hashmi, and I'm going to inshallah have the honor of hosting you this afternoon. Let us begin by the recitation of Quran, and I'm honored to invite up a recitation by Qari Nurullah Buddha, who will be graduating today from the alim program, and inshallah he will give us the recitation of Quran to begin the program.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلفا ومن الجبال جدد بيض وحمر مختلف ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلفا ألوانه كذلك إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إن الله عزيز غفور. ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلف ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض وحمر مختلفا ألوانها مختلفا ألوانها ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلفا ألوانه كذلك إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إن الله عزيز غفور إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور والذي أوحينا إليك من الكتاب والذي أوحينا إليك من الكتاب هو الحق مصدقا لما بين يديه إن الله بعباده لخبير بصير إن الذين يتلون كتاب الله وأقاموا الصلاة وأنفقوا مما رزقناهم سرا وعلانية يرجون تجارة لن تبور ليوفيهم أجورهم ويزيدهم من فضله إنه غفور شكور والذي يديه والحق مصدقا لما بين يديه إن الله بعباده لخبير بصير صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, takbir. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan, Maulana. Beautiful recitation to start us off. Inshallah, we'll move right along the program. I'd like to request and honor to invite our dear Maulana Sulaiman Salim Saab, the current president of IAE. MashaAllah, he is a man of many talents. I always thought that if there's someone that can convince you that the sky is a different color than blue, it's Maulana Sulaiman. So just be ready. The students, you guys know what I'm talking about.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومثل كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس لعلهم يتذكرون. صدق الله العظيم. I welcome all of you, brothers, sisters, younger, olders, to this Mubarak and very blessed occasion, which is the Khatam of the Bukhari Sharif and distribution, giving the certificates to those youngsters who completed the Quran, and also our iftar students who work day and night, and in 2 years they completed the iftar course, and mashallah they became now mufti and have the authority to give the fatwa. And this is the group here of the mosque. Okay? Kuffars, of course, we are hafiz of the Quran. If they recite one ayah of the Quran, I can recite 2. If they recite 2, I can recite 3 and 4. Alim, I have also a little bit, knowledge, at least to confuse them, But muftis, they give to the fatwa. So after the fatwa comes, then we have no option left. No argument, no istidlal, nothing. And if you do it, then there is another fatwa. So, fatwa after fatwa. So they are the most advantaged, mashallah, this group. And so I welcome you in this great occasion. And also, I am very fortunate today that I am the first one to speak, because last time, what happened that I had something in my mind to speak, and then these students, they stole from my brain, the verses of the Quran or the Hadith. Then when I came to the podium, I had nothing, to speak about. So now, I recited one ayah. Okay, and inshallah, then if somebody had it in his mind, then he would be thinking, why Muhammad Sulaiman will go first? He stole my ayah. So maybe this is a little revenge, for that time. But I'm not here for a speech. So inshallah, speeches will come from these students, inshallah, the recitation of the Quran, and also the Khatam of the Bukhari. We have great esteemed scholars from out of town, and inshallah they will speak and we will benefit from them. I just came here to welcome you, and then we all know, alhamdulillah, the history of the Institute of Islamic Education, which was established more than 30 years ago, about 33 years ago in 1989. And the ayah that I recited, of course, is not exactly, it is about kalima tayyiba, but we can fit it to any good work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that any good work which is started with sincerity, with ikhlas, then it grows, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will barakah. So we can see now, alhamdulillah, that we have about 25 graduates today, and we have so many graduations in the past. So hundreds of the Hufaz and tens of, alhamdulillah, the ulama, and also tens of the scholars from the IFTA, they graduated from this institute, and inshallah in the future too. So this is a great and bright example that a work that is started with pure heart, with sincerity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will barakah. Yeah, I was saying one thing that you see throughout Chicago land, and even after Chicago land, in most of the madaris, if not all, you will find most, or at least one or two graduates of IIE, Institute of Islamic Education, who are teaching, and very successfully they are teaching different books and different subjects, and they are in the higher positions. So this is because, again, the beginning of the IIE by Hazrat Maulana Abdullah Salim Sahab al-Ali, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted the effort, like long time ago in the last century. Qasim Narwaki rahimahullah, he put the foundation of Darul Uloom in India. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the acceptance to that Darul Uloom, and of course this Darul Uloom IIE is also, I can say, very small branch of that huge tree which produced hundreds and thousands of these scholars, and you can see in every corner of the world its fruits. The people are benefiting from it. I hope that inshallah you will enjoy this program. You will encourage our students and remain inshallah in the program up to the end. Jazakumullah khairan jazak. I will ask inshallah our Hafiz, our Sheikh Azam Hashmi program.
MashaAllah, takbir. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan. Those beautiful words, Mawlana Sulaiman. Inshallah, we'll move right along, and I'll save some color commentary of what Mawlana said for a little bit later in the program, inshallah. We'll have some recitation by Hafiz Rayan Siddiqui. He is graduating today in the Hifz department. He studied under Mawlana Saad Salim, and inshallah, I'd like to request Hafiz Rayan for some recitation. Before we begin, some of our esteemed ulama, local ulama, and visiting ulama are in the gathering. I request you to please make your way forward. We request you to please join the gathering. There's seating food. I see Ilyas Asmi Saab is to my left. Who else is in the gathering? I know some of the students, Mufti Saab is coming. Yeah, please come forward. This is just a small way to honor your efforts in the teaching and the guidance of the students and the others. So please. Forward, but Jazakallah khairan. It's their presence here brings the barakah. It's just our tradition that we realize that we have dependency on our elders, we have dependency on our teachers for this barakah. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا عبادي لا خوف عليكم اليوم ولا أنتم تحزنون الذين آمنوا بآياتنا وكانوا مسلمين ادخلوا الجنة أنتم وأزواجكم تحبرون يضاف عليهم بصحاف من ذهب وأكواب وفيها ما تشتهيه الأنفس وتلذ الأعين وأنتم فيها خالدون وتلك الجنة التي أورثتموها بما كنتم تعملون لكم فيها فاكهة كثيرة منها تأكلون صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah takbir. Alhamdulillah. One more request. I know there's some ulama that just came. I don't know if the Abrar Sahib is trying to get them to come forward. Humbly request you to please honor us by coming to the right of the stage, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Moving along, I would like to request one of the next speakers is actually one of the graduates from the IFTA program. This is Maulana Yusuf Chaudhary. From what I'm told about him, mashallah, he's actually a very active student. And when they told me, I said, active, I said, what? Is he like physically fit or what? They said, no, mashallah, he's very active in doing dawah and speaking in the masjid. Mashallah, does the Jummahs here for the school. Mashallah, gives several talks. And so, mashallah, he's someone that the community is very accustomed to. Maulana Yusuf Chaudhary, please, for some words.
Just use one. My voice gets very loud. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد قال الله عز وجل بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. صدق الله العظيم. I actually wanted to come before my other classmates who will be coming, inshallah, and obviously they're more eligible than me to speak on the stage. In terms of ilm, in terms of amal, character, they're way higher than me. But since I was requested to talk, I wanted to talk before them, as Maulana Sulaiman mentioned, that certain things that you do want to say, and then when someone else goes before you, he steals everything and you don't feel like repeating after him. And you just took it from him. So rather, I do not want to be the thief, so I go first. Alhamdulillah is a great blessing of Allah Azza wa Jal, that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala given us the ability to be here in such a great gathering of the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the kalam of Allah Azza wa Jal. Thus we thank Allah in salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ayat that I recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that there should be a group of people among the ummah who learn the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal, and they do not only learn it, they gain tafaqquh. And the word tafaqquh comes from bab tafa'ul. One of the khususiyya and the specialities of bab tafa'ul is at-takalluf, meaning to do something beyond your normal capacity to delve into something. This is called at-takalluf. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this ayah is that there should be a group of people who delve into the fiqh of the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Though we are just the naqilun and transmitters of what the fuqaha have mentioned, and we are just the atharat and the effects of those who actually have the tafakkur, and they actually gain tafakkur. Our level has dropped so much that we don't have that capacity anymore to reach that level, but at least we try to do certain works which makes us resemble them. So we can also say that it is a great blessing of Allah Azza wa Jalla that He made us from this group, a group who devote their time and dedicate their time for the tafaqquh of the deen of Allah Azza wa Jalla. I do want to thank certain individuals before I leave. Obviously, starting off with my parents. If it wasn't for them, probably I would not have been here and talking in front of you. I remember about 15 years ago when I was doing hifz. I was about maybe less than 10 years old. When I had to go to the dorm, leaving my parents, leaving my mother, I would come once a week home. The day I would leave from home, I would see that my mother is crying next to me. Because of the mahabbah that she had for me, she did not want to leave me. But she knew that this sacrifice that she is giving right now will have a future and will have a reward from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So her mahabbah did not make her stop me from going to the madrasa. Every week that I would come, I would see my mother crying for me, but never stopped me that you don't have to go today. Rather, I would say that I would see my father, even if I stopped myself from going when I did not want to go, because obviously at that age no one wants to go to madrasa, no one wants to study, everyone wants to play. My father he would rebuke me and he would scold at me to go to the madrasa. And the madrasa was far from home and I wasn't coming back for another week, even at that age. All these sacrifices my parents have done for me, obviously I can never repay them, but I do want to thank them for all the facilities that they have given me and provided me till today that I am able to stand here. I do want to thank my siblings as well, my brothers, my sister. They also helped me throughout my entire student life, especially my sister. Any time that I needed any help from her, she would always be there for me. As well as my teacher, my asatida, some of the asatida are here, such as Maulana Yameen Sahib, who will be giving a talk. Maulana Azizur Rahman Sahib, will also be coming, inshallah. It is because of their effort and their mehnat and their dedication that we are here. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for their sacrifice, for their teachings, for their dedications, then I would not have learned what I have learned. And lastly, I do want to thank our beloved Ustad, Mufti Abrar Hafidahullah, who has given his effortless, he has given his time without looking at his family and his work throughout the entire 2 years that I have spent in IAE. I have seen the mahabbah from Mufti Sahib, and I have seen the dedication, and I have seen the love for his students which he showers upon them. And because of the mahabbah and the dedication of Mufti Sahib, Hafidahullah, may Allah preserve him, we are able to graduate today. We ask Mufti Sahib to forgive us for all the shortcomings that we have done, and we ask him to continue his mahabba and his effort upon us. Yes, we are not done. We just have gotten the key right now to open, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to continue with this work that we are doing. I'm so sorry, I also need to thank the madrasa itself. If it wasn't for the madrasa, then obviously no one would have been able to study. If it wasn't for this place, and all the people that are giving their life and their time for this madrasa, khususan Maulana Sulaiman, Maulana Ubaidullah, Maulana Abdul Rahman, Maulana Sa'ad, Hafidhahullah, and the founder and the body of this madrasa, Maulana Salim, Hafidhahullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve all of them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them their duty word. Obviously we cannot repay them, but we thank them upon all those efforts and all those dedications and sacrifices they have made for this madrasa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to stick to his path and to continue work and to gain tafaqquh. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Takbir. Jazakallah, Tisaf, for that passionate, heartfelt speech. Jazakallah khairan for those reflections. I'm going to move right along, inshallah. Hopefully everyone's doing okay. We just got started. It's only been 20 minutes in the program. So, MashaAllah. I want to invite up the recitation of Quran by Hafiz Ikram, who is graduating today as well in the Hifz department. MashaAllah, he's in study with a few of the teachers here at the madrasa, and we'll be, inshallah, blessed to hear some recitation from him. This is Hafiz Ikram.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين قالوا ربنا استقاموا ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم صدق الله العظيم.
جزاكم الله خير. تكبير. as you can see, in between his class, he also hit the gym quite often, mashallah. I had a chance to just barely touch his bicep, and I was, mashallah. Allah bless you, brother, mashallah. I'm surprised you're even fitting in that boat. Inshallah, we're going to be delighted to hear another speech. I'm sorry, forgive me, I was just joking. I'm sorry. Forgive me. We're going to have another speech by, mashallah, we heard Arislav recite in the beginning, and now inshallah we will hear him give us a few words. Maulana Nurul Huda will give us a short speech. He's also graduating inshallah today in the Alim program.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وخاتم النبيين محمد الطاهر الطيب الصادق الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه الغر الميامين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم وقال عليه الصلاة والتسليم من لم يشكر الناس لم يشكر الله. Teachers, honorable guests and scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The verse that are recited in the Hadith that I mentioned relate to shukr. And as human beings, we have plenty of individuals to show gratitude to us. And as a student of ilm, our gratitude starts by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's mentioned in Hadith that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves someone, He gives them the understanding of deen. I'm not saying that I have understanding of deen, but I'm happy for the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has at least allowed me to sit in front of teachers who do have an understanding of deen. And it's by the will and fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has accepted all of us sitting here to come into this gathering, and that He has accepted all of the students here to not only learn and memorize the Quran, but also pursue further Islamic education. If it wasn't for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we would not be here. And I'm grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for picking me and choosing me to study His ilm. I have been doing many things, and Allah knows where that would have led me. But the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has allowed me to open the Quran, to open the books of Hadith, shows how much love He has for us. With that, I thank my mother, my honorable mother. She in the family has sacrificed the most. As Sheikh Yusuf also mentioned, that the mother is the greatest sacrifice. From the time that we're born and from the time that we leave this world. No matter how old you get, you will always be a baby to your mother. And the Prophet ﷺ has, and verses of the Quran has shown us many virtues and the reasons why we should be grateful to our mothers. And for me personally, my parents live overseas and I haven't seen my mother for a very long time. But I was physically away from her, but spiritually and mentally, I always felt close to her. There was never a time where she made me feel lonely. There was never a time where I was down and that she didn't call me and ask me. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given mothers a special sense that they can just know by you calling them what you're going through and how you're feeling. So, and ask all of us sitting here, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with parents, that we cherish them, we serve them, and we make dua for them. If they have passed away, that we do those actions that will benefit them in the next life. Along with that, I thank my father and my entire family for deciding what I'll be doing. Imagine if I made my own decisions at the tender age, which I started in Hadith, and later on started the Alim course. I would not have been making decisions in line, perhaps with the doing Alim course, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided my parents and allowed them and pushed them towards sending me into a madrasa. And a madrasa, as scholars will say, is a fortress, right? You're protected. You don't have much distractions. And you're protected from shaitan, you're protected from the evil outside. So I'm grateful for the fact that my parents chose me and they allowed me to, and they made the decision to send me into a madrasa to pursue Islamic education. Because with any other education, not belittling any other field or secular education, you only benefit in this life. With Islamic studies and Quran and Hadith and Sunnah, It does not only affect you in this life, but also it becomes a means of your salvation in the next life. As the Hadith says, Al-Quran hujjatun laka wa alayk. This very Quran that we recite will either be a means of you entering Jannah, will either be a proof for you or will be against you. Now it is upon us how we live our lives. Alhamdulillah, we get to read and recite the Quran, but we should question ourselves, how much of it am I understanding, or am I going out of my way to understand? And next thing is to implement and then convey to others. And then I like to thank all of my teachers. Some of them are here, some of them in other madaris. If it wasn't for their efforts and their sacrifices, normally you would think that a student should be putting in more work. But unfortunately, it is the exact opposite in our times. You see the teachers waking up early, preparing the dars, what they will be teaching the following day. You will see them teaching multiple classes, sacrificing more. They have their families, they have programs that they need to attend, but it's never been a time where they would forego their classes and prefer something else. You know, all the teachers here, I thank them from the bottom of my heart. First and foremost, Sheikh al-Hadith, Maulana Abdullah Salim Sahib, Hafidhahullah. Now, one of the main reasons why the previous madrasa that I was at, they decided to send me here because of Sheikh Salim. Right, he, as we know, has been here for the past 50 years. So he is one of the names for Chicago Sharif. And the only reason why that Sharif came is because Maulana Sahib's blessing for this city. And all of the credit goes to him. All the madaris that exist today are all because of the du'as and the sacrifices and the effort. Otherwise, alhamdulillah, he was already well off in Deoband. He was the head mufti, he was the official reciter of the madrasa. And he is someone that I spent the most amount of time with. MashaAllah, even at this age, he was teaching for just me personally in my class for 7 hours. You know, towards the end of our classes, I would say once I think you can make the classes a little shorter, take a little break, breathe, and he was saying, Urdu, ye kaise ho sakta hai? Abhi to kitab khatam nahi hui, hum ghante kaise khatam kar sakte hain? Ye to khiyanat hai. And he would say that how can we keep the classes short, right? We haven't finished the book. This will be khiyanat. We have to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the sincerity that Maulana Sahib has, we can see the results of his sincerity and of his ikhlas. Maulana Sahib Hafidhahullah, he is someone that it wasn't in discussion in the class where not only about Quran and Hadith, it wasn't limited to that. He is someone that has met and studied with and along individuals whom we only hear about him. Sheikh Zakaria, rahimahullah, Qari Tayyib Sahib, rahimahullah, and all these great giants who've sacrificed and spent their entire lives just for the i'la'u kalimatin. Along with our principal, I say this often, he's the softest principal. He was the first one that spoke here, Sheikh Suleiman Sahib. And you know, normally when you think of a principal, you think of someone that is, you know, hard to reach. You have to make an appointment. It's very stern and strict. But Maulana Sahib is the exact opposite. He is the most humble, most kind, and most loving individual and teacher that I have come across. Same goes for all of his brother, Muhammad Salim Sahib, Ubaidullah Salim Sahib. All of them are great people. And one other individual that I enjoyed being in his company was none other than Mufti Yasir Sahib. Now Mufti Yasir Sahib, when he's not butchering atheists and when he's not rebuking and rebelling liberals online, he's over here spending most of the day in front of the books and teaching the students. Now this is not the only institute that he teaches at. He has his own online and he teaches at other madaris. But the fact that he takes out time to teach us, and it shows us how much barakah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given in the time of our teachers. And then Maulana Sulaiman Khan Sahib from India. Now he's someone that's just a few years older than us, my class. But in ilm, mashallah, he's years ahead of us. He's someone that also was teaching us online because he was teaching in the India madrasa. But he took up time every day. And sometimes you would see that he would run late traffic, he would come home and teach us. But he never missed us. He was always there to teach us, and he taught us with love. All of these teachers, they showed us so much love and affection. I was only here for 1 year. I did other years of Da'wah course and another madrasa. And I never thought that I would feel that this institution and the individuals and the staff here would make me feel at home. Now that the time is coming towards the end, and it just it's very hard for me to acknowledge the fact that I'm graduating today and leaving. They've made us feel at home, and I request all of them sitting here and all of the brothers and sisters to keep us in your du'as, especially du'as. The journey of life is just started. We have just completed, now the real life begins. How we're going to implement what we've done and convey to others. And I request all the teachers here that though we may not physically be here, but please do keep us in your hearts, in your minds, and especially in your du'as. Jazakumullah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Very calm and collected words, mashallah. It's much different than his recitation. Man, the recitation is powerful. You talk like a Sufi up here, man. Mashallah. It's good. It's good. Mashallah. All right, inshallah. I'm going to take a 30-second break by asking everyone to move one step forward. The barakah, the benefit of it is so you get some blood flow, and inshallah we'll move to the next reciter, inshallah. So everyone can just either stand up and move one step forward, one step forward. There's mashallah, a good group in the back that's already by the doors. Jazakallah. I don't know what the sister side is, but maybe one of the volunteers can just have the sister stand up and just maybe stretch or just relax for 30 seconds, inshallah. Okay. Jazakallah khairan. Jazakallah khairan. And those that are stepping out, I imagine you're just getting some water and chai and you'll be right back. Okay, let us keep moving on. And inshallah, just building off of what Maulana Sahib said, Maulana Nurullah here, mashallah, what he just said about Maulana Salim Sahib. As a point of reflection, and I know Maulana Sulaiman talked about IE very briefly in terms of the beginnings of IE, and it's so beautiful to hear you say that story. And here he is in his old age committing 7 hours, and even that he wants to do more. It's so beautiful to see that, because here's a man who started this effort in the basement of his home over 30 years ago with just a handful of students. And it wasn't because he wanted to, per se. At that time, and I'm pretty much, I'm old, is that at that time the Chicago community, we as a community, and I'll take that we as a general we as a community went to Maulana Salim, and there's a few families that said, you're an alim here in America, here in Chicago, here's our children, and they literally gave, and I know that because they're my age and they're my friends. Mawbilla, you know what I'm talking about, Umar, they as families went and said, you're taking our children, and you need to make them hafiz. He had no plan to make this madrasa. Look at today, look at the fruits of his effort. Now, mashallah, fully functioning campus. 7 years, 7 hours now where he's teaching class even at this age. But it all began from humble efforts and beginnings of just teaching hymns out of the basement of his home. And that story then continues to what you see today. May Allah bless him and Auntie for their efforts at the beginning, because it's not easy to have a group of 5. Then it was 10, and it got to 12, then you have 15 young boys, at your home, and you have to take care of them, you have to teach them. Only the family knows how perhaps difficult that was. But again, that sacrifice was made over 32 years ago. And now today, mashallah, to see him still committed to this effort, and now in the capacity of a teacher, it is so beautiful to hear you say that. With that, inshallah, I'd like to request a recitation by Hafiz Daniel to join us, mashallah. He, mashallah, has studied with several of the teachers here to complete his hymns. A unique thing about Hafiz Daniel, mashallah, is 3 of his older brothers have also become Hafiz al-Quran from the same institution, mashallah. So he is number 4. It seems like your brother set some really good example in your family as well, mashallah, that now he'll be the 4th brother completing the hymns of Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن في اختلاف الليل والنهار وما خلق الله في السماوات والأرض لآيات لقوم يتقون إن الذين لا يرجون لقاءنا ورضوا بالحياة الدنيا واطمأنوا بها والذين هم عن آياتنا غافلون أولئك مأواهم النار بما كانوا يكسبون إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات يهديهم ربهم بإيمانهم تجري من تحتهم الأنهار في جنات النعيم دعواهم فيها سبحانك اللهم وتحيتهم فيها سلام وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله تكبير. ما شاء الله جزاك الله خير. Hafiz Daniel for the beautiful recitation. And then inshallah I want to invite up a short talk by Maulana Yusuf Yunus Salah, who is graduating as an alim inshallah today. And inshallah he'll give a short word of reminder. Maulana Yusuf Yunus Salah, please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله عليه السلام أما بعد. All praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, send and salutation to Nabi Kareem alayhi salatu wa salam. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is the fadl and the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I am able to complete the 6 years alim course. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. I praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for accepting me on this very long journey, which started when I was 21 years old. And I went to study at India Jamiatul Hasanain. I started everything from the basics. And due to lack of understanding English, my first and second year was the most difficult years for me. And even when everything became too much, I never felt I've given up. And I know how precious at the end will be. I kept my trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of that, I never lost hope. My dream is always that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept me to finish alim course and use me in His deen. Alhamdulillah, now I can see that very blessing is coming on the way with the grace and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The first thing that I want to say to my fellow students, the fact that you are here in this noble path, studying Sharia, Hadith, Fiqh, Tafsir, and many other things. You see, this is the sign that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already wants good for you. You have to strive, work hard, put your focus on your study. Nothing comes with ease. You see, when you drive, you have to focus on the road. And that same reason, you as a student must focus on your study. Give 100% of everything. Before you consider to give up, ask yourself, am I focusing on the road while driving? Am I putting enough effort for my study? Put all of your effort into it. Never ever lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't ever think of giving up. Put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today I'm here. I want to thank my father. Alhamdulillah, he's over here with me. Before I became a father of my daughter, I never relate to my father's things he said. But wallahi, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me a daughter, things that he said was right. My father was the one who introduced me how to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and connect with the Quran ever since I was young. And he is also my teacher. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him long life. There are a lot of things I want to mention about my dad, his hard work. There is no word for it. Special thanks to my mother, who is the love in my heart, the most warming. My mother supported me and have very strong feeling of me to achieve this alim course. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give her long life and grant her goodness in this dunya and in akhirah. Ameen. I want to thank my sibling. Thank you for support to achieve my goal. I must also mention my wife, who waited 3 years patiently and gave me the support that I need in my most difficult times and good times. Lastly, my beloved teachers. I'm thankful to Maulana Salim, Maulana Sulaiman, and another Maulana Sulaiman from India, Mufti Yasir, Maulana Ubaidullah from this institute. I'm Ustaz Umair and Ustaz Imran. Because of their kindness, passion, and understanding, my first and third year, because of them, kept me moving. My Ustaz, Maulana Shemaz, because of his understanding and kindness and friendliness, that's what kept moving for my 4th and 5th years. I am very grateful to Maulana Sulaiman from this institute, who is an understanding person, kind person, and very wise person. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give to all my teachers long life and grant them khair in this dunya and akhirah. Without you, all my teachers, I will not be able to stand here today. It's all because of your hard work, kindness, and passion. You are able to learn. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khair, assalamu alaikum.
MashaAllah, jazakallah khair, takbir. Alhamdulillah. We're going to move right on, inshallah, and I want to request another recitation of Quran. This will be by Hafiz Muhammad, who is graduating today as a Hafiz of Quran. He's a student of Hafiz Raji, who is, mashallah, he has the honor of being the first student of Hafiz Raji, mashallah, who has been teaching him. Am I saying it right, Raji? Mashallah. The only thing is the pressure and the expectation is quite lofty to be a student, because if the teacher does in Ramadan, 3-day Khatam, 4 times in the month of Ramadan, I can only imagine the pressure you have as a student. Okay? So, with that, inshallah, I give over to you to bring some recitation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة
سم الخياط وكذلك نجزي المجرمين لهم من جهنم مهاد ومن فوقهم غواش وكذلك نجزي الظالمين والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لا نكلف نفسا إلا وسعها أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون ونزعنا ما في صدورهم من غل تجري من تحتهم الأنهار وقالوا الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق ونودوا أن تلكم الجنة أورثتموها بما كنتم تعملون صدق الله العظيم.
ما شاء الله, Jazakallah khair. Takbir. MashaAllah. Now I get to call a little bit more of the students on my right. We're going to hear, MashaAllah, from the Hufaz and the ulama on the right and the left. So I'm delighted to invite Maulana Huzaifa Kohan, who will be, inshallah, graduating from the Iftar reflection. Maulana, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we're going to keep it brief to keep the program moving on, inshallah. Just wanted to share a small anecdote. A couple of years ago when I was doing my first year of which is second, we had a scholar give us a small example. And he told us a story of when you and I, we go to the market, and we buy produce, we buy fruits. And I don't know if people do it anymore, but what you do is typically you take the apples, you take the bananas, whatever you're buying, and you put it on a scale. And the more produce you have, the more fruits you have, slowly the weight adds up. Now, you'll have a stack of fruits, and at the top, you'll have the last place item. You'll see that apple on top. Now, the example of me standing here in front of you today is like that apple. That there's so much weight on the scale. But that weight, it doesn't belong to me. It's the result of the efforts and the du'as of those who came before. It's the effort and the du'as of my parents. It's the effort and the du'as of my teachers. And it's the effort and the du'as of the Salaf al-Salihin. I'm just the product that you see on top. So don't praise us for standing here in front of you today. Alhamdulillah. It's the fadl of Allah that we're here. If you knew our deficiencies, if you knew our faults, you guys would run away from us. But thank people such as Mufti Abar Mirza, who toiled day in and day out. He sacrificed these efforts. You guys might not see on the stage today, but that's the weight that's behind us all. Thank the efforts of the teachers here at IIE, Mulana Abdullah Salim, Mulana Sulaiman, Mulana Abdullah, Mulana Rahman, Mulana Sa'ad Mufti Yasir, the people behind the scenes. And thank the community at large and the ulama and all of those who are here today. It's your guys' du'as that keep us going day in and day out. Jazakumullah.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khairan, Mufti Sahab. MashaAllah. we will move on, and then we'll have a nice little treat coming for us as well. Not like an ice cream, but a better treat, right? We're going to go with the recitation by Hafiz Rizwan Siddiqui, who will give us some recitation of Quran. He is graduating, of course, and mashallah, him and his brother is also graduating from the Hifz department, and mashallah, he has studied under Maulana Saad, and Hafiz Rizwan Siddiqui for some recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا وأن الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة أعتدنا لهم عذابا أليما ويدعو الإنسان بالشر دعاءه بالخير وكان الإنسان عجولا وجعلنا الليل والنهار آيتين فمحونا آية الليل وجعلنا آية النهار مبصرة لتبتغوا فضلا من ربكم ولتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب وكل شيء فصلناه تفصيلا وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah Hamsa Takbir. Alhamdulillah. Just to change it up a little bit from the program, we'd like to request Maulana Sulaiman Khan from the online, one of the online teachers, as I understand it, to give us a little Qasida Burda. Inshallah, if I can request.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, I
writing something for my own teacher, Mawlana Salim, who spent many hours teaching us as well. So I wanted to present him with a gift. And the best thing I could think of was to write something for him. So I decided to do that. But before I present that, I have a surprise for Mufti Yasser. I wanted to also honor him for being my teacher constantly, and he's still my teacher, alhamdulillah. So I wrote something for Mufti Yasser. I will present that first, and then I will present that for Mufti Muslim, inshallah. What I presented for, what I wrote for Mufti Yasser has to do with, mashallah, how he always is standing up for the truth, and he's always fighting against the bad. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using him for the guidance of many people, alhamdulillah. And one quality of Mufti Yasser that everyone can testify to as a student is his ability to clarify very, very hard topics in a manner that you're able to understand. So alhamdulillah, keeping all those things in mind, inshallah, I would like to present something for him as well, inshallah. It's going to be in Arabic, so whoever understands, inshallah, hopefully can appreciate it for him, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. يا نفحة هبت بين السحر والغسل أحب من النعمى والراح والندم هبي كلاك الرحمن بالتة على لظى قلب وضنا حشا ضرب سلام الله عليك إذ هببت إلى أرض الحبيبة تدعى ظبية الأجل صلت عليك إذ بلغت تحيتنا إليها عنادل الجنات في النغم إلى غراء ذات كشح أهيف محسودة العينين منظومة الفم وقد تشاكست علينا الدنا عجبا إذا استهدفت ألبابنا بالسهم يقول لها الوالي إذا ما ابتكرت ما متع الضحى اليوم فنمي تغممنا بمطال الوصل حتى انبتت من الصد ورثت سبائب القسم وتدعي لوعة الجوى في كل منطقة وليس بها ما بنا من رمة السقم فقلت لها برهني على الهوى ردت طي الكتمان أحسن الشيم قلت بلى لا تتغلطي في الهوى وشددت ركابي في الياس والألم إلى من في ابتكاره برد الحشا وكأنما بذكراه قرة الشلم إلى ياسر ذرى دعوة الورى خير من حملت ساق على قدم حسام الله إذا نهض الخنا قال الإله يا ياسر اجرثمي كأنه عقاب الهوى من مرقوبة على غربان لأواء معمية دهم أو هو حنظلة الكفر وقتادة يذيق أهله بالحق طعم العلقم يممته ولست بذلك أبتغي مالا وجاها وعرضا فاعلمي فهو الذي بين لواحب الهدى لكل مريض الطبع بينة العمي ويا لفخر الإسلام به إذ غدا به الدين يجر ذيل التنعم وانتصابه للعبد حيثما بدت أنياب الزور والريب والزعم بقول صادق ودليل واضح الخطى ومفتاح كل غموض القول مبهم وحرصه في الله النبي محمدا من حملة الجور والسب والشتم وقد جل الرسول عن كتب العلا وجملة الفحش والزيغ والتهم وأخذه بزمام الحق يا ترى ولا خوف في الله من لوم اللوم حتى تستتب لله حجته به ويزداد شوقنا إليك يا سر الكرم أعلى بك الله دعائم الهدى وارفع بك الدين إلى أقصى القمم ومتعك وإيانا بجنات العلا ومنزل قربان منه على السلم فامضي لا يصيبنك مس الوجع وسر يا ياسر بالله سير الضيطم. The next qasida I want to present is from Muslim, and it's my honor that he's here now. So I'll start inshallah, and it talks about the pain that Muslim had to go through a few years ago as well, and also Muslim's, mashallah, his ilm and his fiqh, alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أسقم بك بعد النوى والهجران أم لغيرهما عيناك تنهملان قفا خليلي حقبة على البلا صلت عليكما ملائكة الرحمن على لؤي وبئر معطلة الحشا وسفع هبت عليها رياحان جنوب وشمال عليها كلاهما ذوات العصف من بين جدران وكأن رسومها من بعد البلاء وقد جاد عليها واقف الهطلان متون أجدتها أكف روائب أو آي الزبور المنزل والقرآن أو بقية حناء قد اندرست وشامه بالراحتين وبالبنان قفا هنالك واستخبرا طللا هل ترددت فيها تحية الأحزان ولا ترفع راسا لعدل واهجرا مقالة ذي الشحناء والأضغان بل أيها العاشق في تيماء الهوى يحدو قلبه شدة الخفقان سهود إذا ما جنج الحدجا لزه في وحشة الليل فرقدان لا تأمن ما حديت من المها لآلة ضاعت في مغابر الأزمان نظرن إليك بعيني جبل فزع وتثن في مشية كالخيزران تمنى فؤاد الصب الوصل سلفا عساه يسقى بكاس التداني ولكن الولع من شيمة الأولى والعهد ضائع اللفظات والأركان ولم يفتح فؤاد الفتى كأنما رام برودا لدى حرقة النيران وهن إن شين آثرن الوفا على غدر مستهام القلب حيران وعوضن عبس الوجوه بناعج لذيذ البابلية من راح اليمان ولكن عمدن صوت الوعود غدرا بمصدق من الزور والهذيان والذنب أوضح إذ يقوم به عالم لم يجهل جلالة العصيان والذنب أوضح إذ يقوم به عالم لم يجهل جلالة العصيان وقال أناس ألست تعصي الهوى والهوى من حبائل الشيطان فأين الله الذي لا رب غيره لو أبصروا بجنبي وما يطويان لاسترجعوا الملامة عن خجل ولاستعاذوا بالله من الولهان فدعك يا صاحي وسل خبرا عن جبل الهدى والنور والرضوان علم الحديث وفقهه قد حوى ولم يذر أي علم من المثاني وهو الذي أحيا تراث الهدى فكأنما في فقهه روح نعمان وهو الذي من كل الورى له منن علي لكل المكرمات يدان وهو الذي من أجله انطلقت ألسنة أقلام الفصاحة والبيان وهو الذي برى عقول الورى بعلم وحلم كالصبح لا ينكتمان إلا لمن امتلأت أحشاؤه حسدا عليه بالظلم والجور والشنآن فصك معصوما عند ذرته وكان الشيطان من زمرة الأخدان فحاول إطفاء المصباح غيظا بمفند الوش والإفك والبهتان فكأنما حاول بعض الثرى جحدا بخبثه وغن على الزبرقان وحاول أن يكن الشمس قزع قليل لم يعدل زور الجبان فباء بما باء المستلول به إذ ربا حميراء النبي بالبهتان بشؤم ولؤم وعيب ولعنة وخسر في دائراته وخذلان فبؤ يا مقبح لا غفرت بخيبة ومت بغيظ ودغل وحنة وهوان رذيلة بتهمة وتخمة ورعان فكنت كأنك نطفة مطرش غضب الإله على سلة الشيطان وحي الإله أبا سليمان فإنه وكانت نعمة من الله جلا لك مخلص الحب من كاتب العدوان ممن حماك بصدره ولسانه ريثما جل الأرض له وجهان فذب عنك من ذام الضيم والخنا بحسام صدق وحق له ذمان فلا تيأس يا همام من الخنا عليك فإنما كان فيه أجران أجر الصبر على خدع الإخاء وأجر الابتلاء من لدى الرحمن وقد صفاك به من كل ريب كما تصفي التبر شعلة الفتان ولم أحتج على أن أسميك ولكنني من كنز نعتك ما قد كفاني علم وحلم ثم تواضع وغيرة وطهارة قد أقرت بها الثقلان بل شئت أن أغيظ باسمك العدا علالة في النحر والحكم والجنان فأنت عبد الله الذي سبق الورى في كلأ من الله والفضل والشان ابن النعيم وجد النديم وزنده مجليا سبقة الخيرات والرهان وإن كان لمثلك فينا حلوله فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Takbir. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan, MashaAllah, that was beyond my level of understanding and appreciation. Other than your proficiency and fluency in Arabic is absolutely astonishing, MashaAllah. I'm going to ask Mawlana Sulaiman and Salim for an audible in the program because I feel like that was too beautiful for us to bypass without some, not a full translation, but some summary of the two poems that he recited. So I don't know if I don't want to put you on the spot or maybe one of your students or one of the satis that respectfully. I feel like we need some summary for the person like myself who didn't understand. I don't know about you guys, but I really want to get a sense of the beauty that we just heard. Is there anyone that can give it like a little second? Yes, okay. He himself can do it. MashaAllah. One Sulaiman, please, once again. Just something brief. I don't expect a full translation, but just something for us to appreciate.
Like I said, most of it is very heartfelt for Muslims because he's a very great individual in my eyes. And when all of these things happened a few years ago, it really hurt us. But we were students at that time and we were not able to defend him in any way. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave me a chance to just put together my feelings of how I felt about that individual. Some of the comparisons I made was like, he was like Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when she was also blamed for the ifk. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected her from that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used this opportunity to plead more from everything. And I also talk, in the beginning, the style of the Arab poems is that they always talk about some other thing and then they go into the topic. So the beginning part of the qasida is not exactly related to the end of it. It just is there to get you in the mood for poetry. And the second part in which Salim's things were mentioned, I tried to mention without exaggeration whatever I thought was true about Mu'asab, especially his ilm and hilm and his fiqh, like the fiqh of Nu'man, which is Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, and talk about, وَلَمْ يَتَغَيَّ عِلْمٍ مِنَ الْمَثَانِي, and Mathani is the Quran, and Salim, mashallah, known for his tilawah and his qira'at and his ilm of the Quran, mashallah. So it'll take a very long time if I try to explain every single aspect of it. But basically, I'm trying to express my feelings about how Salim was betrayed from his own people, because it was supposedly the Muslims who went after him, unfortunately, and they caused this whole fitna. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And in the end, basically, the last bait that I can end with is that if someone like him, he's still living amongst us, then which of the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we can deny, Again, if I was to go line by line, it would take a very long time. So please forgive me.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair, Mawlana. That just helps us appreciate your emotions some more. So I really appreciate you taking that. Inshallah, we'll move on with the program. And as you can tell, alhamdulillah, we're more than halfway through and really getting to the point, inshallah, where we'll have the chance to experience the session of the Khatam of Bukhari, which is really the blessing of this gathering, right? To see and experience that moment. And I encourage all of us to stick around and inshallah tell others to join as well, because that is a beautiful moment in our tradition of learning and knowledge. This happened inshallah in just a few more sessions. I want to continue to ask for a short word of Nasiha from Mawlana Talha Wahid, who is graduating from the Alim program. Mawlana Talha Wahid.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد، أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وما توفيقي إلا بالله، عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: إنما الأعمال بالخواتيم. Alhamdulillah, it is a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has brought me here, and I am very thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that throughout my journey He has guided me, He has helped me,
And he has really helped me through my teachers, my classmates. One of my classmates who's with me, was a big help to me in my line of knowledge and learning, and who advised me every single day to do better. As a classmate, as a class fellow. And not just that, he was a brother to me as well. And at the same time, every day, I would feel some sort of less motivated. He would push me, he would say, you know what, bro? You can do it, man. Just push yourself. You're almost there. Just do better. Any shortcoming, don't worry about it. And at the same time, all my teachers, respected teachers, Hazrat Maulana Abdullah Salim Sahib, Hafidhullah, who taught me, and with his immense knowledge and wisdom, we sat in his class, like Maulana Sahib said, Maulana Sahib said, that we sat there for 7 hours, and sometimes we would, talk amongst each other and say that, you know what, let's ask him to lessen the time. And then Maulana Sahib said, why? Why would you want to lessen the time? And he would put so much effort in teaching us, even at his, Mubarak age. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a long and healthy life. I was blessed to sit in his gathering and him teaching us Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Tirmidhi. And all my other teachers, Maulana Ubaidullah Sahib, Hafidhullah, Mufti Yasir Sahib, Hafidhullah, Maulana Sulaiman Sahib, Hafidhullah, and Maulana Sulaiman Sahib from Indiana as well, who would take out time and teach us online and dedicated to teach us. All the teachers, I truly from my heart, I sincerely thank all of you for teaching me and guiding me and sharing your wisdom with me. And I give special thanks to my parents. When in the beginning, when I started Alim course, my first year, my mother, she said, you know what, Beta, don't worry, this will end in no time. Inshallah, one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the use of you and you'll do great, inshallah, one day. And every time I would go back home, I would tell her, I just don't want to go back. As a student, as a young child, I would say, I don't want to go back anymore. I don't like it there. She would say, you know what, Beta, it's fine. You'll do it. And I wouldn't stand here and be sharing these words without the du'as of my parents and the du'as of my mother, especially, who sat at home, waited for me to come back home. I truly thank her, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her, and my father as well, who dedicated his time and energy to bring me to madrasa. And at the end, I'm going to ask for forgiveness from all my teachers, that any shortcomings that I've come across in class or outside of class, that you forgive me, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you highest levels in this world and in the hereafter, and give you peace of mind and long and healthy life, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. Takbir. Alhamdulillah, very well said and heartfelt. Thank you so much for that. We were going to have a recitation, but one of the students wasn't able to make it, so we'll just take a moment to recognize his accomplishment, and that is the recitation was going to happen by Hafiz Huzaifa Ali, who will be graduating from the HIPS department, but he's not able to make it today, so we just want to take a moment to recognize him as one of the students that is completing HIPS, inshallah. With that, we'll move to another speech, actually. This will be by Maulana Farhan Lahab, who is, mashallah, graduating in the Alim, he's an Alim, and he's actually graduating in the Iftar program. And And so with that, I'd like to request Mawlana Farhan to give us a short words. And just by way, as he's making his way up, mashallah, just to let you know, amongst the iftar class, there's 3 students that actually finished in 2020. And of course, because of the COVID situation, you're not having a ceremony. And then inshallah, this year, for this batch, 2021, there's 7. So alhamdulillah, today we're going to see 10 ulama become in the ranks of the iftar program. So alhamdulillah, this is Mawlana Farhan.
Respected ulama, beloved teachers, beloved family members, friends, and all those that are visiting today, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I was not sure what to speak about as my journey has been long, but also short. I was unsure of what moment to highlight, as memory can recount many, but time will not permit it. What I am sure of, however, is that Allah blessed me with the greatest of teachers, the humblest of men. What I am sure of is that I was blessed with the dearest of family, the patience they've persevered. I am sure that I was surrounded with the noblest of friends, the dignity they've personified. Thus I am grateful to each one of them, for without teachers we err. Without friends and colleagues we do not learn to progress. And without family, we cannot exist to experience the above. My parents and teachers have kept me in their du'as, and I ask not of the sincerity. For no sincere teacher and no parent would want anything but success for their children and students in this world and in the next. Throughout the years, I can only conclude that each one of my teachers is sincere. They would take out hours of their day, for some years, just to teach one student. And if that is not sincerity, I would ask, what is? I want to mention some qualities of my teachers so that you may know that you live among giants of men. You will conclude that wealth means nothing to them unless for the sake of Allah. You will conclude that fame means nothing to them unless for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Mawlana Abdul Rahman, my beloved Ustad, makes sure that everyone has eaten to a full belly. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Despite his status, you can see him as he entered the lunch area cutting watermelon for students and serving them. My beloved Ustad Mawlana Sulaiman cheers the heart directly, and no one meets him except that their gloomy days are brightened. Mawlana Saad is a man who, when he speaks with wisdom and wit. I have yet to see someone as closely connected to the Quran as is my beloved Ustad Mawlana Ubaidullah Salim. He lives the life of an ascetic, sleeps very few hours, and is always concerned about our health spiritually and physically. The reason why your shoes are now on the shoe shelf and not on the ground where you may have left them is because of him. Someone who I am very proud to consider my teacher, someone whom you may all know for their concern for the Muslim Ummah, someone who spends their entire day from morning till evening educating students, ulama, and the laymen, whether in America, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, the corners of Africa, wherever it may be. That person is our beloved Ustad Mawlana Mufti Yasir Nadeem. May Allah forever keep him, his family, his uncles, their families, and their progenies with afiyah, iman, khayr, and istiqamah. Mawlana Ahsan Sayyid, once my senior and then my teacher for many years, would not fail to impart within us characteristics of the righteous. Mawlana Muhyiddin Khan would teach us a science and with it the importance of truth and academic credibility. And two of my beloved teachers who taught me for a short while, but in doing so built the foundations upon which everything was built, were Mawlana Kamiluddin and Mawlana Bilal Ali Ansari. May they all be known in the skies. I come to tell you of a man who was caring, loving, truly selfless, and truly generous. His family, his 2 little boys, Adnan and Jadwan, and his students were all happy with him. We've not only learned the Asm al-Iftah, research, but how to live like a person, how to act as a scholar. To be truly part of a community that prospers in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jalla. These are all the branches of a tree one man planted around half a century ago. Sent by Shaykh and Murshid Qari Tayyib Sahab, Hazrat Maulana Abdullah Salim, Hafidahullah Ta'ala, Damat Barakatuhu, became a means for the ilmi intellectual milieu that we see today in the Chicagoland area. I wanted to describe him with some quality, and so I thought that I should say he is a man of character. I wanted to describe him with some quality, and so I thought that I should say that he's a man of character. I stopped and said that yes, he is a man of character, but he is more. I said that he is a man of nobility. I stopped and I said that yes, he is noble, but he is more. I said that he is a man of perseverance and patience. I then said to myself that yes, he is, but he is more. I then concluded that as we can describe him with many great qualities and characteristics, only those of his students and those who will take benefit from him will truly know his eminence. Lastly, all of this would not be possible had that one Arab man, Sayyiduna Habibuna Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, not given his life for the Ummah. He was pelted by stones. He was prophesied as Ahmed and remembered throughout the centuries as Muhammad. His words on the day of judgment will be only for us, Ummati Ummati. And without Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, without his sacrifice, him as the mainspring, the only spring that everything sprouted from, that we sit here today in Elgin, middle of nowhere, graduating as ulama, as muftis, as qurfal, to protect the Quran, to protect the deen, would not have been possible. Assalamu alaikum.
MashaAllah, Mawlana, very well said. Jazakallah khair. Takbir. Alhamdulillah. We have two more recitations before we transition to the next part of the program, which is really getting to the Khatam, Bukhari, and also the distribution of the certificates and dua. So inshallah, we just have a little bit more left. I'd like to request Hafiz Sayyid Shu'aib to come. MashaAllah, he'll be graduating in the Hifz department. He studied under Maulana Sulaiman and Maulana Saad. So I'd like to have him recite the Quran.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان وله الجوار المنشآت في البحر كالأعلام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Hamsab, Jazakallah khair, Takbir. MashaAllah, I look forward to your Taraweeh, man. MashaAllah, that was nice. Jazakallah khair. One more recitation, I'd like to request Hafiz Abdullah Siddiqui. MashaAllah, he's graduating today in the Hifz department, and also you may have heard his brother recited earlier. Looks like this brother has a better outfit, MashaAllah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف تلك آيات الكتاب وقرآن مبين ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين ذرهم يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل فسوف يعلمون وما أهلكنا من قرية إلا ولها كتاب معلوم ما تسبق من أمة أجلها وما يستأخرون وقالوا يا أيها الذي نزل عليه الذكر إنك لمجنون لو ما تأتينا بالملائكة إن كنت من الصادقين ما ننزل الملائكة إلا بالحق وما كانوا إذا منظرين إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Takbir. MashaAllah, very nice. Jazakallah khairan. Alhamdulillah. I wanted just, inshallah, as we segue to our esteemed and honorable guest who is joining us from New York, just to put into perspective what is happening, inshallah, what will happen in just a few minutes. And that is just two things to share. Number one is, if I were to ask in this group, you know, how many of us actually, mashallah, there's iftar students graduating, there are ulama graduating. If I were to say to the parents or family or friends, how many have actually attended or came one day to IE and sat in a class? Raise your hand if you've actually sat in one of your kids' class. I figured. But the beauty of today is that we're going to get a chance to do that. We're going to get a glimpse of what they were doing every day for potentially years, and especially their last year when they're doing Dawah. And we're going to get that in the Hadith of Bukhari. The setup you see here, growing up in America, I never appreciated it. And so I wanted to just put it in perspective for some of the younger brothers and sisters here. The setup here is the final session. And this happens every day, obviously maybe not with this elevated stage, but you're going to see a glimpse of class. And this is a blessing and an opportunity for us to see as parents, as family and friends, what were you doing for the last year and a half, or 2 years, or 6 years? Well, we're going to get a chance to see it. That's the beauty of these Khatam Bukhari sessions. For people like us that don't understand or don't appreciate it, it's for us to get a little bit of a glimpse and then see, oh, subhanAllah. This is how the teacher asks them to read. This is how they read back to them. This is how they engage. That's what we're going to get a chance to look at. And I want all of us to stay for that and to focus on that and really appreciate the final session of class that's going to happen in front of all of us in the community that's being even live streamed. Secondly, as we're nearing the end of the graduation, you're going to see in our Islamic tradition how the graduation happens. It's through a system of sanad. It's through a system of, you learn from me, I learn from my teachers, you learn from my teachers. And it's a powerful sanad, a chain that goes all the way back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that transmission today will happen. That authorization to say you can go forward as a hafiz, you can go forward as an alim, you can go forward as a Muslim. That transition will happen today through the certificate, of course, through the wrapping of the turban, which is a sign of that in our Islamic tradition and culture. And finally, you may have noticed a common thread in the speeches that were given from the ulama and from the muftis. And this is beautiful because we're in the season of graduation, right? June, July, here, in high school, whatever. And you've probably all done a graduation ceremony outside of the Muslim environment. And what you see here is a whole other level of appreciation, of shukr, of dua for their teachers. How many of us heard when they say their names of their teachers, they say, Hafidahullah. Like, may Allah bless them, may Allah preserve them. I don't remember the last time I heard a valedictorian at a speech say, may God bless my teachers. Right? And they'll say, inside they're cursing them. Like, thank God I'm done with this. You see the emotion and the attachment and the love that is here. This is unique to our Muslim tradition and our Islamic tradition, and especially our Islamic tradition when it comes in terms of knowledge. That's what's so beautiful about today. So I appreciate the students all talking about sacrifice, about shukr, and with such humility. It was so beautiful to see. MashaAllah, may Allah bless you, students. All right, with that, inshallah, if we can all give our undivided attention to our esteemed and honorable guest, Hazrat Maulana Yameen Sahab, who is our guest from New York. He's the founder of Jamia Ulum, New York. He served as the principal of Dar Ulum, New York as well. MashaAllah, he is a man of many accomplishments in the Islamic studies, and as a teacher, an alim, and an imam, we would like to request humbly Hazrat Maulana Yameen Sahab.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. जवाब बहुत कमज़ोर है, शायद बिरयानी नहीं मिली आपको। मुझे तो अच्छी तरह बिरयानी मिली, मतलब ने बहुत खिलाया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। माशाअल्लाह बिरयानी में चिकन भी था। जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वहदह वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला मन ला नबिय्य बअदह। अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। लइन शकरतुम लअज़ीदन्नकुम व लइन कफ़रतुम इन्न अज़ाबी लशदीद। वक़ाल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम मन लम यशकुरिन्नास लम यशकुरिल्लाह। और कमा क़ाल अलैहि सलातु वस्सलाम। असल में ये तकरीर करने की जगह है नहीं, تقریر کی جاتی ہے ایسی جگہ پہ جہاں تقریر کرنے والوں کو کچھ کہنے کی کوئی گنجائش ہو۔ اب یہاں جہاں گرامی قدر میرے معزز محترمی معظمی و محبی حضرت مولانا حضرت العلام مولانا عبداللہ سلیم صاحب دامت برکاتہم تشریف فرما ہے، اور ان کے حواریین ان کا رفقا جہاں موجود ہے، وہاں کچھ کہنے کی ہمت تو مجھے نہیں ہے، مگر آج شکریہ ادا کرنے کے لیے یہاں بیٹھا ہوں۔ حضرت کی محبت ہے، ایک نالائق کو ادھر بیٹھا اور ایک فخر بھی ہے دل کے اندر۔ آج جو دارالفتاح سے فارغ ہو رہے ہیں چند مفتی حضرات، ان میں سے میرے چند شاگرد بھی ہیں جو ہمارے پاس سال و سال تک رہے اور دین کی تعلیم حاصل کی۔ بہرحال یہ حضرت کی محبت ہے، علماء کی مجلس ہے، اس مجلس میں تقریر کرنا، کچھ سننا، کچھ سنانا یہ جرأت ہے، پھر بھی حضرت کی محبت ہے، اس لیے میں چند باتیں گزارش آپ حضرت کی خدمت میں کر کے میں اپنی بات ختم کروں گا چند منٹ انشاءاللہ۔ سب سے پہلے ہمارے ان شاگردوں کو میں یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں، جہاں حفاظ بھی ہیں، علماء بھی ہیں اور مفتی حضرات بھی ہیں، ان کے جو چند سال گزرے یہاں اس ادارے میں، وہ جو تعلیم حاصل کیا اس کا مقصد کیا ہے، اور ہمارے علماء دیوبند کی امتیازی شان کیا ہے، جس امتیازی شان کو سامنے رکھ کر ہم علم حاصل کرتے ہیں، 7 سال 8 سال 12 سال جو بھی۔ 3 باتیں یاد رکھنے کی ہیں جو حضرات زیر تعلیم میں ہیں، چاہے ناظرہ میں ہو، چاہے حفظ میں ہو، چاہے عالم کورس میں ہو، چاہے قسم التخصص فی الحدیث والفقہ میں، ہمیشہ ان 3 باتوں کو سامنے رکھ کر تعلیم حاصل کریں۔ اور وہ کیا ہے؟ ایک سوال کا جواب ہے۔ اگر کوئی ہمیں سوال کرے کہ آپ یہ مدرسہ کیوں چن لیا، کیوں یہاں آئے ہو، جہاں دنیا بھر کی تعلیم گاہ ہے، پبلک اسکول ہے، کالج ہے، یونیورسٹی ہے، یہ سب ادارے کو چھوڑ کے تم اس میں کیوں آئے ہو، جہاں سے تعلیم کرنے والوں کی دنیا کی نظر میں کوئی قدر ہے نہیں؟ تو یہ 3 باتوں کا جواب ان کے سامنے ہونا چاہیے ہمیشہ، کہ یہاں ہم سب سے پہلے جو ہم سیکھتے ہیں، جو دوست ادارہ میں وہ باتیں نہیں سکھائی جاتی ہے، سب سے پہلی بات ہے حب السنہ و کراہیت البدع۔ پہلا نمبر یہ یہاں اس لیے ہم آئے ہیں کہ سنت کی محبت اور بدعات کی نفرت، بدعات سے مراد صرف بدعات نہیں ہے، ہر قسم کا گناہ جو ہے اس کی نفرت سیکھنے کے لیے اس قسم ادارہ ہم نے چنا۔ یہ علماء دیوبند کی شان ہے، آپ دیکھ لیں۔ نمبر 2، اس قسم ادارہ اس لیے ہم نے چن لیا کہ ہم یہاں آ کر تواضع سیکھتے ہیں۔ دوست جتنے ادارہ ہے، اسکول، کالج، یونیورسٹی میں، وہاں تواضع سکھایا نہیں جاتا۔ تواضع سکھانے کا ہمبلنس، من تواضع للہ رفعہ اللہ،
یہ امتیازی شان اس قسم ادارہ کا ہے، تواضع سکھایا جاتا ہے، ہر کچھ جاننے کے باوجود کہتے ہیں میں کچھ بھی نہیں۔ حضرت شیخ الاسلام حسین احمد مدنی رحمۃ اللہ علیہ اپنے نام سے پہلے ننگے اسلاف لکھتے تھے، اور حضرت مولانا تھانوی رحمۃ اللہ علیہ ناچیز کبھی اخکار لکھتے تھے۔ ہمارے اکابر اپنے آپ کو اتنا گم کرتے تھے کہ لوگوں کو پتہ ہی نہیں چلتا یہ کون تھا۔ تواضع، جب تواضع ہوگا تو اللہ تبارک تعالیٰ علم بڑھائے گا۔ اگر ہمارے دل میں یہ بات ہو میں کچھ بن گیا، کچھ ہو گیا، دوسروں کو کچھ نہیں سمجھتے ہیں، ان کی زبان نہیں آتی، ان کو یہ نہیں آتا، تو پھر اس تعلیم کی امتیازی شان حاصل نہیں ہوگی۔ من تکبر وضعہ اللہ۔ تو ہمیشہ یاد رکھنا، نمبر 2، تواضع سیکھنے کے لیے اس قسم ادارہ کو ہم نے چنا۔ میں نے خود دیکھا اپنے اکابر کو، حضرت مولانا حسین، حضرت مولانا سعید پالوی صاحب رحمۃ اللہ علیہ کو میں نے خود دیکھا اپنے ادارے میں، دارالعلوم میں، جب میں دعوت کرتا تھا حضرت آتے تھے، سامنے بیٹھے تھے کہ بھائی تم مجھے کیوں بلایا، میرے پاس کیا ہے، کچھ بھی نہیں ہو۔ حالانکہ آپ حضرت کو پتا ہے کہ مفتی صاحب کون سی شخصیت ہوتی تھی۔ نمبر 3، یہ جو تعلیم حاصل کیا ہم نے، چاہے حافظ ہو، چاہے عالم بنے ہو، چاہے مفتی محدث جو بھی کچھ بنے ہو، یہ علم اس وقت کارآمد ہوگا، کام آئے گا جب اہل اللہ کی صحبت جب اختیار کریں گے فراغت کے بعد، تب جا کر ہمارے علم میں کیا آئے گا، جان آئے گا۔ ہم علم سیکھ لیا، آج ہم یہاں سے فارغ ہوتے جا رہے ہیں اپنے قوم کے اندر، اب اگر اہل اللہ کے ساتھ، اساتذہ کے ساتھ سال بھر سلام دعا بھی نہیں، اللہ والوں کی صحبت بھی نہیں، تو اس علم میں وہ نور اور وہ جان جو آنا چاہیے، جو ہمارے اسلاف نے ہم کو سکھایا کہ اللہ والوں کی صحبت، ہمیشہ اللہ والوں کی صحبت اختیار کرو۔ جو حضرت ہم پڑھ رہے ہیں، ہمیشہ ان 3 باتوں کو یاد رکھنا۔ نمبر 1، سنت کی محبت، گناہ کی نفرت، بدعات کی نفرت، تواضع۔ نمبر 3، اہل اللہ کے لیے ہم نے، اور جو حضرت آج یہاں سے جا رہے ہیں ان کے لیے 3 پوائنٹ یاد رکھیں۔ حضرت مفتی حضرات، ہم اپنے شاگرد کو ہمیشہ یاد دلاتے ہیں کہ آپ کے اس علم سے امت فائدہ اس وقت اٹھائے گی جب آپ کے اندر یہ 3 باتیں ہوں گی۔ یہ جو کچھ میں بتا رہا ہوں اپنی طرف سے نہیں، اپنے جیب سے نہیں، اپنے اکابر سے۔ وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا۔ حضرت مولانا مفتی سعید پالوی صاحب رحمۃ اللہ علیہ نے فرمایا، بتایا کہ یہ یہدون بِأَمْرِنَا سے مراد کثرت مطالعہ۔ علم حاصل کرنے کے بعد اگر مطالعہ چھوڑ دیا تو اس علم سے امت فائدہ نہیں اٹھا سکتی۔ کتاب کے ساتھ کوئی تعلق ہے، مفتی ہے، محدث ہے، مطالعہ چھوڑ دیا، کتاب کے ساتھ تعلق نہیں۔ میں نے استاد کو دیکھا ہمیشہ مدرس ہوں، پھر بھی بتایا کہ تیرے ہاتھ میں کتاب کدھر ہے۔ ابھی بھی ہمارے اکابر کو دیکھیں، میں اتنی لمبی بات کرنا نہیں چاہتا ہوں کہ ٹائم بہت مختصر ہے، ہمیشہ کتاب مرتے ہیں، جہاں بھی کتاب نظر آتی ہے لائبریری میں اندر جا کر پہلا کام جو ہوتا ہے وہ کتاب اٹھا، کتاب کے ساتھ تعلق، ورنہ اس علم سے فائدہ امت نہیں اٹھائے گی۔ میں مفتی ہوں یہ کہہ سکتا ہوں، میں عالم ہوں یہ کہہ سکتا ہوں، مگر یہ اشاعت دین، اشاعت علم کے لیے کثرت مطالعہ چاہیے۔ یہدون بأمرنا،
نمبر 2 علامہ حضرات کے لیے لما صبر، صبر چاہیے. اگر صبر نہ ہو تو ثم خیر ہو کہ وہ جگہ اچھا ہے، وہ مدرسہ اچھا ہے، وہ جگہ اچھی ہے، وہاں جانا پیسہ زیادہ ملے گا، اس کو چھوڑو آگے چلو، بزنس کرنا، وہ کرنا، یہ کرنا. نہیں، حضرت مولانا مفتی صاحب نے فرمایا، رحمۃ اللہ علیہ نے فرمایا تھا کہ ہماری قسمت میں 2000 ازل سے لکھا ہوا ہے، 2000 ہی تنخواہ ہوگی، اس سے زیادہ ہمیں تنخواہ نہیں ملی. تو اس کے اوپر صبر کرنا، لما صبر. نمبر 2. نمبر 3 وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ، اللہ کے وعدے پر یقین. جب جا کے ایک عالم دین، مفتی، محدث، مدرس اپنی قوم میں جا کر، اپنے ماحول میں جا کر علم کی خدمت کے ساتھ اپنے زندگی کو کھپا سکتا ہے، کثرت مطالعہ ہو، صبر ہو، اور اللہ کے وعدے جو علماء کے لیے ہے اس پر یقین. ورنہ ہم علم کو چھوڑ کر دوسرا حرفہ، دوسرا مشغلہ ہم اختیار کر لیں گے، مدرسہ میں پڑھانا یہ ہم چھوڑ دیں گے. اسی لیے یہ جو 6 نمبر ہے، فارغ ہونے سے پہلے 3 اور فراغت کے بعد 3، یہ 6 نمبر علماء کے لیے ہے. اللہ تعالیٰ مجھے بھی سمجھنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے، عمل کرنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے. اور آخری بات یہ ہے، ہمارے ان عزیز طلباء کے لیے، حضرات مفتی اکرام، حضرات علماء اکرام، حضرات حفاظ، ان کے لیے ایک بات آخری یہ ہے، اس تکمیل کو تکمیل نہ سمجھے، یہ ابتدا ہے. جتنے دن اپنے استاد کے سائے میں تھے، استاد نے ایک مرحلہ تک آپ کو لے کے گیا. ابھی آپ خود مطالعہ کرنے کی استطاعت کیونکہ استادوں نے آپ کے اندر بنا دیا، ابھی آپ کو یہ ابتدا آج سے، حضرات مفتی اکرام، آج سے مطالعہ شروع کرنا ہے. پہلے ہم مطالعہ کرنے کا موقع نہیں ملتا، موقع تو ملتا تھا مگر استعداد نہیں تھی کہ کتاب سمجھنا کیسے. ابھی سمجھنے کی ایک صلاحیت، ایک لیاقت، ایک استعداد پیدا ہو گئی ہے، ملکہ پیدا ہوا ہے، اس کو کام لگانا ہے. وہ اپنے آپ کے اندر یہ استعداد جو پیدا ہوئی ہے، آگے جا کر اس سے فائدہ اٹھانا ہے، مطالعہ کرنا ہے. آج سے شروع کرنا ہے، یہ تکمیل نہیں. حضرت مفتی تقی عثمانی صاحب دامت برکاتہم ہمیشہ فرمایا کرتے تھے اس کسی مجلس میں، یہ جو دور حدیث ہے، یہ جو دارالافتاء سے آپ خارج ہو رہے ہیں، اس کو تکمیل نہ سمجھے. یہ آغاز علم کا آغاز ہے، علم کی ابتدا ہے. اللہ رب العالمین ہمارے ان عزیز طلباء کو قبول فرمائے اور ان طلباء سے بھرپور. بہت فخر کرتا ہوں، ہمیشہ کسی اسٹیج پہ بھی جاتا ہوں اپنے شاگرد ملتا ہے، یہ ہمارے لیے فخر ہے، ایک استاد کے لیے فخر ہے. میں ایلچن میں کافی دفعہ آ چکا ہوں، الحمدللہ حضرت کی محبت ہے، ہمیشہ یاد کرتے رہتے ہیں. آپ 2009 میں بھی آیا تھا حضرت مفتی رفیع عثمانی صاحب کو لے کر، اس کے بعد کافی بزرگوں کے ساتھ آنے کا موقع ملا. آج بھی حضرت نے مجھے بلایا اور میں شکر گزار ہوں. حضرت کی جو اولاد ہے، حضرت کے جو رفقا ہے، اساتذہ کرام ہیں، سب کا شکر گزار ہوں. اللہ تعالیٰ ان کی محنت کو اور اس ادارہ کو قبول فرمائے اور ہر قسم شرور و فتن سے محفوظ رکھے. آخری بات، ہمارے جو مدعو حضرات ہیں ان کے لیے ایک بات چھوڑ کے میں چلتا ہوں، وہ یہ ہے، آج ختم بخاری ہو گئی. اس دن میں حضرت امام بخاری کی سوانح دیکھ رہا تھا، اس میں ایک بات مجھے بہت اچھی ملی، یاد رکھنے کی. بتائے کہ ان کا تقوی، ان کا ورع اتنا اونچا تھا. بتائے کہ اللہ کے سامنے اس طرح میں ملوں کہ میں پوری زندگی میں کسی کی غیبت نہیں کی. حضرت کا یہ سب سے بڑا تقوی تھا. کہ جب میں اللہ سے ملوں تو کسی کی غیبت نہیں. تو آج شیطان ہم کو اتنا دوسرے لائن پہ لے کے جا رہے ہیں, ہم سے زنا میں, دوسرے بڑے بڑے گناہ میں مبتلا نہیں کر سکتے, مگر ہم دیندار جو قسم ہے, تہجد گزار ہے, نمازی ہے, روزہ دار ہے, روزہ رکھتے ہیں, مگر ہمارے پیچھے شیطان ایک ہی گناہ کر ہم کو ہلاک کرتے ہیں. وہ کیا ہے؟ پیٹھ پیچھے بات کرنے کی, غیبت کرنے کی. اللہ تبارک و تعالیٰ اس گناہ سے ہم سب کو بچنے کی توفیق عطا فرمائے. وآخر دعوانا الحمدللہ رب العالمین والسلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
MashaAllah. Takbir. Alhamdulillah. Mawlana, Jazakallah khairan. MashaAllah. Very, very beautiful. Alhamdulillah. We want to move on to one of our other esteemed guests that is joining us to request him to say a few words. This is Mawlana Abdul Aziz, one of the teachers of Hadith over in New York at the Darul Noor. So I would humbly request our esteemed guest, Mawlana Abdul Aziz Sahib, for a few words. This is Alhamdulillah, this is Mawlana Abdul Aziz Sahib.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. محترم علماء کرام، حاضران مجلس، اس تقریب کی دعوت مجھے بھی ملی ہے اور اس لیے میں باعث مسرت اور خوشی میرے لیے باعث مسرت اور خوشی کی بات ہے میں پہلی مرتبہ اس ادارہ میں حاضر ہوا اور جو حالات میں نے دیکھا ہے اور یہ علماء کا ہجوم اور عوام الناس کے جو تعلق اس مدرسے کے ساتھ اور اس ادارہ کے ساتھ علماء حضرات عوام اور ہر قسم کے طبقات کے آدمیوں کی حاضری دیکھ کر مجھے خوشی آئی ہے کہ الحمدللہ اس ادارہ اللہ سبحانہ و تعالیٰ نے اس کو قبول فرمایا اور یہاں جو میں نے آج آنے کی مجھے جو اللہ نے توفیق عطا فرمائی ہے اس اعتبار سے میں اللہ کا شکر ادا کرتا ہوں حضرت والا کو مفتی صاحب اور حضرات کے ساتھ میری ملاقات ہوئی ہے سب کا میں شکر گزار ہوں اور جو حضرات اس ادارہ سے مفتیان ان میں سے فارغ ہوئے ہیں اور دور حدیث سے فارغ ہو رہے ہیں یہ بھی ہمارا سب طلباء میں ہے اور ہم ان سے امید رکھتے ہیں کہ یہ ان حضراتوں کا اللہ سبحانہ و تعالیٰ دین کے لیے قبول فرمائے اور امت کے لیے اور ہمارے لیے ان کو صدقہ جاریہ اور کی حیثیت سے ان کو بقا رکھے اور علوم دینیہ کی خدمت توفیق عطا فرمائے. وآخر دعوانا الحمدللہ.
MashaAllah, mashallah, Jazakallah khairan. Takbir. Alhamdulillah, both of them spoke so beautifully and so humbly. And Mawlana Yameen Sahib said some beautiful advices for those that are about to graduate and then those that are studying and those that are about to graduate. He shared 3 points on each side, which were very beautiful, and inshallah sometime we can discuss those. I want to move along with the program, inshallah, and really honored and really excited and happy to transition to this part, which is the Khatam to the step. And also I'm delighted to introduce the teacher that will be conducting the Khatam Bukhari is Mawlana Ibrahim Meman. He is from Canada. MashaAllah, he has been teaching in the Madaris for several years. MashaAllah, he is no stranger to IE. He is a very much of a supporter of IE. He has come to many programs. MashaAllah, very dynamic speaker, dynamic alim. And alhamdulillah, him and his family have done such great khidmah for the community. And inshallah, with that introduction, Mawlana Ibrahim Sahib for the Khatam Bukhari. There's some people that are still outside. Please, we ask you to please come forward and come inside the masjid, as this is the main part of the program, and then after that we will do the iftar money and the certificate distribution. So there are many people still in the lobby that I can see from amongst the brothers. Please come inside and participate and sit in this majlis.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, today is a great day. We are able to celebrate academic final day of Institute of Islamic Education. As you got announcement that inshallah who completed completed Yasna and who completed RM course and others who completed Abdul Quran and I think high school too. Yeah, so they will get the certificate, inshallah. So, this is blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give us tawfiq to serve Islamic sciences, ulum al-Quran, ulum al-Hadith, fiqh. And you read in the invitation card or letter or whatever that a part of program Bukhari. Yes, of course, everybody knows that Bukhari, this is a very special book of Hadith. That ulama agreed on this, that Asahul Kutubi Baba Kitabillah. But still I was thinking that why in our madaris that I'm not talking about the Ahmad al-Muslimin, the ulama also, the giving importance Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari, that as starting of Sahih Bukhari, have a very, you can say, like a preparation and starting with dua, and people gather, that Bukhari is going to be started. And at the end of Bukhari also, that people gather, okay, Sahih Bukhari is there, Bukhari is there, let's go. Here, don't count here in Chicago, America, everybody visit. But in our country, India, Pakistan, when people they heard that, okay, that Bukhari Khatam is there, let's go there. So very important book compiled by Imam Bukhari. Why is that? Listen. Number one, that Imam Bukhari Rahmatullah mentioned that every single hadith, before writing in that book, was he decided to have a book. Before it, make a ghusl and paying 2 rakah nafil. Then make istikhara. When with all these things have confidence that this hadith is, I have to take it and in write and book. He was doing. And where? In Hatim. You know Hatim? No. Okay, did you see the picture of Baitullah, Kaabatullah? Huh? There, in the side of Kaabatullah, is the half circle of water. That's called Hatim. Inside that Hatim is a part of Kaaba. Imam Bukhari Rahmatullah sitting there. And after this, ghusl outside, then nafal here, nafal 2 rakah, and then istikhar, and then writing there. Every single hadith. And you know that how many hadiths in this book? 7,500 around. How much? 7,500 around. Every single hadith he did this way. Make him ghusl. Two rakah nafil. Istikhara and then writing. Can you imagine that? And then what on that they make a Bible, like a chapter, whatever that is. They did it where? In Medina Munawwara. Where? In Jannatul Baqi. He did that. Is it joke? But they did do that. 16 years he spent in this work. That's one point. Second, he studied hadith with 1,000 shuyukh hadith. 1,000. And he took hadith from all of them. But he was in his memory 600,000 copies, 600,000 hadith with the sanad, mean that this hadith, my shaykh is Musaddaq shaykh, this and from this, up to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Everything hadith. And not just this, what the biography of every muhaddith, biography. This muhaddith or shaykh, if never any time committed any sin, or he lied at any time, or forgot at any time anything, yes, that's all they put there. When found that this muhaddith, his sheikh, all are perfect, then his hadith were taken. 2 point. Third point is, of course, every muhaddith, every book has one hadith quoting more than one time. Some hadith, you can take it masala from the hadith. If suppose that a hadith is taking masala of nikah, married, and another masala is talaq, another masala, for example, salah, from one hadith, example. It means that muhaddith quoting the same hadith in different places where period. Fine, what Imam Bukhari did? Imam Bukhari did this, but what? Once he quoted one hadith from one shaykh, that same hadith cannot be repeated with one same shaykh in others. SubhanAllah. These are significance of this الجامع المسند الصحيح المختصر من أمور النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وسننه وأيامه. This is the name of the book. This is Bukhari. Bukhari actually Imam Bukhari belongs to Bukhara. Alhamdulillah, I got this opportunity, bina'matullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I made ziyarah of qabr of Imam Bukhari 2 times, as made ziyarah of qabr of Imam Abu Isa Tirmidhi rahimahullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. So, that Bukhari is not the name of book. That Imam Bukhari is named Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Ismail rahimahullah. His father, Ismail,
big muhaddith, big alim. And how a lot of Talamidah students and listen here. I'm saying that simply I pronounce much through my mouth, but not simply in the action. Ismail, father of Imam Bukhari, when he is going to die, his student Ahmad bin Hafs, he is reporting that my Sheikh Ismail said at the time of death that Alhamdulillah, I am leaving this world. Any single dirham I do not give, it is not halal. These type of people, they have their character. So what they are in? They with what they left. Imam Bukhari, Muhammad ibn Abu Abdullah, Muhammad ibn Ismail. Father there, having this status. Son, you see that? Muhsirul Ummah. What was this? I think Salim ibn Mujahid or what? I think the Hadith ibn Hajar wrote in this story. Hadith ibn Hajar very famous, the Shahriyah Bukhari. He wrote this. He saw and dreamed. The son, Allah, he saw the dream. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, how long you teach book of Fiqh Shafi'i? Why you don't teach our book? Ya Rasulullah, what is your book? Yes, the book compiled by Muhammad ibn Ismail Bukhari. That is our significance of this book. And because of that, our Mashayikh, our ulama, they were having Dawrah of Quran and making dua, right? Same way when they make a Dawrah of Hadith or this book, Sahih Bukhari, also they make the same way. With this yaqeen or belief that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bi barakati hadal kitab, Allah will accept our song. That is the secret. But now, Alhamdulillah, we are doing that. There are big kilometer reach. Big kilometer, no, all of you. Big kilometer reach. Now, your connection is online? Huh? Okay. So what inshallah Ali in Makkah Mukarramah, he was joining our class Bukhari from there. So inshallah he will recite one hadith of Bukhari, last hadith, and then other Muslim Sharif, Al-Tirmidhi Sharif, Abu Dawud Sharif, Nasir Sharif, all these Sihah, what every single alim is getting read, will recite one hadith of every book. Okay, so now you will read the book to your phone. Okay. One.
أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي
وبسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام الحافظ الحجة أبي الحسين مسلم بن الحجاج القشيري النيسابوري رحمة الله عليه رحمة واسعة. حدثنا عمرو بن زرارة قال حدثنا هشيم عن أبي هاشم عن أبي مجلس عن قيس بن عباد قال سمعت أبا ذر رضي الله عنه يقسم قسما إن هذان خصمان اختصموا في ربهم إنها نزلت في الذين برزوا يوم بدر حمزة وعلي وعبيدة بن الحارث رضي الله عنهم أجمعين وعتبة وشيبة بن ربيعة والوليد بن عتبة. وبه قال حدثنا أبو بكر بن أبي شيبة قال حدثنا وكيع وحدثني محمد بن المثنى قال حدثنا عبد الرحمن جميعا عن سفيان عن أبي هاشم عن أبي مجلس عن قيس بن عباد قال سمعت أبا ذر رضي الله عنه يقسم لنزلت هذان خصمان بمثل حديث هشيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام حافظ أبي داود سليمان بن الأشعث الأزدي السجستاني رحمه الله أنه قال حدثنا موسى بن إسماعيل قال حدثنا حماد عن ثابت عن أنس بن مالك رضي الله تعالى عنه وعنهم أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم كان إذا أكل طعاما لعق أصابعه الثلاثة وقال إذا سقطت لقمة أحدكم فليبعد عنها الأذى وليأكلها ولا يدعها للشيطان وأمرنا أن نسجد الصحفة وقال إن أحدكم لا يدري في أي طعامه يبارك له.
Ikhwan, when you hear the name of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبالسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام الحافظ أبي عيسى محمد بن عيسى بن سورة الترمذي رحمه الله تعالى أنه قال حدثنا محمد بن بشار قال حدثنا معاذ بن هشام قال حدثني أبي عن قتادة عن أنس رضي الله تعالى عنه قال كان أحب ثياب إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يلبسها الحبرة. قال أبو عيسى هذا حديث حسن صحيح غريب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام الحافظ المتقن الثبت أبي عبد الرحمن أحمد بن شعيب النسائي رحمه الله أنه قال أخبرنا إسحاق بن إبراهيم قال أخبرنا جرير قال كان ابن شبرمة لا يشرب إلا الماء واللبن. آخر كتاب الأشربة وهو آخر كتاب المجتبى من النسائي. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين ورضي الله عن كل الصحابة أجمعين وعن التابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبالسند المتصل منا إلى الإمام الحافظ أبي عبد الله محمد بن يزيد بن ماجه القزويني رحمه الله أنه قال حدثنا أبو بكر بن أبي شيبة وأحمد بن سنان قال حدثنا أبو معاوية عن الأعمش عن أبي صالح عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه وعنهم قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما منكم من أحد إلا له منزلان منزل في الجنة ومنزل في النار فإذا مات فدخل النار ورث أهل الجنة منزله فذلك قوله تعالى أولئك هم الوارثون.
Okay, Alhamdulillah, you heard last hadith from Sihah Sitta, every single book. Now, before Maulana will make Khatam al-Bukhari dua, I request to all Asatidha from over here and give them ijazah. I give ijazah of hadith all of you on behalf of my Sheikh, Hazrat Maulana Shaykh al-Islam, Maulana Hussain ibn Madani rahmatullah alayh, and Hazrat Maulana Shaykh Fakhruddin Muradabadi, Shaykh al-Adid Dalam Deoband rahmatullah, and Hazrat Maulana Allama Ibrahim Baliyabi rahmatullah. These Maulana Hazrat Madani rahmatullah alayh, Maulana Ibrahim Sahar rahmatullah alayh, they were student of Shaykh Hassan, rahimahullah, and Mar Fakhruddin rahimahullah, he was the student of Allama Nurshah Kashmir rahimahullah, and Allama Nurshah Kashmir rahimahullah was the student of Shaykh Walid Maulana Mahmud Raza rahimahullah. I gave you the data of Hadith, all of you, inshallah, and then
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I took the knowledge of Hadith from Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Salim Qasmi and Hazrat Maulana Amir Shah Kashmiri and Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Na'im Saab Rahimahullah Ajma'in, وقد تحملوا كثيرا في سبيل هذا العلم وحفظوا بأنفسهم، وأنا ذا أحملكم هذه المسؤولية وأرجو أن لا تتوانوا في هذا المضمار، فروا عني كما رويت عنهم، وراعوا الله سبحانه وتعالى في السر والعلانية، وأدعو الله لكم بالسداد والتوفيق وجزاكم الله.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, I studied Sahih Muslim under Maulana Ni'matullah Azmi Hafizahullah and another teacher, Maulana Qamuddin Gorakhpuri Hafizahullah. These two teachers studied under Shaykh al-Islam Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani Rahimahullah. I have another ijazah from my great grandfather, Hazrat Maulana Na'im Saab Rahimahullah. Another ijazah I have from Shaykh Yunus Rahimahullah, studied under Shaykh al-Hadith Maulana Zakaria Rahimahullah. Another ijazah I have from Shaykh Ahmad Amin Siraj, the Muhaddis of Turkey, who was the last student of Imam Imam Zahid al-Qawsari. So I give you all ijazah inshallah from all my Islamic Jazakumullah khairan.
So I studied Tirmizi under Maulana Muhammad Na'im Sahab, Shaykh al-Hadith, Darul Deoband, Rahimahullah, and he studied under Maulana Fakhruddin, Rahimahullah. So I give ijazah to those who study under Tirmizi, that you can inshallah teach and spread the knowledge, as Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, that you have to spread the knowledge and convey the message. Jazakumullah.
Assalamu alaikum. When is going to be standing up with this great inshallah. I studied Ibn Majah from Sheikh Ahsan, who's sitting over here, inshallah. And he studied from the teachers over here. And also I studied Nasai under Nawaz Suleiman, studying over here as well. So inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you guys the tawfiq, inshallah. And just like Muhammad says, that inshallah take from me or how you heard from them, inshallah. And I'll give you guys all the jazz and all my standing as well, inshallah.
MashaAllah, Allah and Jazak khair, them ko barakat de, Barakallah fi umrihi. Accepted our request to come here and make Khatam Sahih Bukhari and make dua Maulana Ibrahim Sahab, and he also teaching Bukhari in Uttara, Darul, Buffalo, Darul and Canada, MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. First thing I'd like to congratulate everyone for this beautiful occasion that we are attending here, especially those who are graduating and those who are on their way to the graduation, be it hifz or alim or iftar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your efforts and prevented this effort from being lost and use you for the service of His deen in the right way. Alhamdulillah, we heard the beautiful talks from many of you where you were talking about your teachers, your institutions, which for a person like me, being part of an institution from the time we started knowing what is happening around us in the world, it's very common. But the thing I'd like to remind all of you, that what we heard from you today, we wish we can hear from you after 20 years the same thing. Keep your connection with your teachers. Your loss is in losing the connection with your teachers and with your mashayikh. And as you heard, mashallah, our ulama here, until now when Mullah Abdul Salim talks about his teachers, his elders, the way we see the other and the respect, this is what we need to continue, and this is basically what the difference is between our ilm and the ilm obtained in the universities. Over there, once you're out, you're out. Then you don't care about who taught you what. But over here, this is the essence of the whole knowledge. Your connection after you go out. After you start serving the deen. And then you realize that this is my connection that I need to keep. Because this is the fountain through which you got your water. And as many of you, mashallah, use the words of shukr. The shukr is endless. It cannot be shukr of a day or two. It has to be something, as Ali radiallahu anhu says, a person who told me something, a word, I'm his slave for the lifetime, not for 2 years or 3 years. So, keep your connection with your teachers, with your institution. It's extremely important. The time you lose that, you're out of the field. The other very important thing that I'd like to remind you, that as you're graduating now, make sure you set your goals of what would you like to be now. And those goals will not be set on your own. It will be through the mashura and the consultation of your teachers and your mashayikh. Always consult them at every step of your life. That's the way that you can keep shaitan out of your life. Otherwise, traps are so many, and we can fall under any of them at any time. When we used to look at our mashayikh, for example, I will give 2 examples. Mullah Islam al-Haq, rahimahullah. Recently, one of his books has been published about Muqaddimah of Sahih al-Bukhari. He was the Shaykh al-Hadith in Darul in England. We always remember when he was in his close to 70s at that time. A few years before he passed away.
when he used to talk about his asatidha and mashayikh, you feel like he's being just like a child. Like you just feel it from his way of talking about his teachers, that even all of them have passed away, but he's behaving like a child when he's talking about his teachers. So he still feels with that age that I'm a child in front of my teachers, although they have left the world. And for Mawlana Sultan Rahmatullahi alayhi, within the students, we had a common saying about him that he is froze in Hazrat Sheikh's class. Really, it felt like he's frozen in that era. He can't come out of it. From the time that Shaykh al-Hadith rahimahullah, Mawlana Zakaria rahimahullah left the world, he's only talking about it. Find me a single talk of Shaykh al-Hadith, Mawlana Zakaria, Mawlana Yusuf al-Mutala rahmatullahi alayhi, when he doesn't mention the Shaykh Mawlana Yusuf al-Mutala rahmatullahi alayhi. So he used to say, he's frozen in that era. And he's not moving forward. He can't move forward. He can't come out of it. That's it. He's frozen in that era. This is how much they were connected to their mashayikh and their asatidha. And every chain is based on that connection. That is the connection. This connection takes us all the way to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is a special gift that your teachers and your mashayikh have given you and are giving you today. What you have seen just now, it wasn't just simple few words that they have said. They gave you the treasures of the world. And really the treasures of the world mean nothing in comparison to what they have just given you. Chain, that when you hold on this side of the chain, the other side of the chain is going where? Through Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's all wahi. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. They're giving you so many chains. How many chains, golden chains, can you buy? Imagine how many chains they have given you in each book. What a gift that you just got. Value this gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored you with. Let me just explain something in my simple language. If we were to expand this gallery and bring all the people of Chicago, expand it even further, bring all the people from North America, further, maybe all the people from the world. And now, we want to select few people for a task. All the people have been gathered so that we select few people for a task. Whatever the task may be, what's the chance of any of us being selected for it? But today we see, if it was people's choice, we would never be selected. But subhanAllah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has selected all of you. This selection is by Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala for his deen. Now, don't let it stop here. Don't let it stop here. Each and every one of us have a responsibility to make sure that we go out and let the world understand what a blessing that Allah has favored us with. And I want you, I beg you, please go to the institution. Try a few days, see if you don't like it. Let people understand what we have in these institutions. The world doesn't know. They're knocking at every other door in the world because they don't know. If they would know what they can get over here, what you have in these books, there won't be anyone who would not come to study these books. But unfortunately, we are living in the era of ungratefulness and injustice. A person came to Allama Iqbal rahimahullah And if some of you are aware of the wisdom Allah blessed that man with, it was exceptional. That a person like Sheikh Abu Hassan Ali al-Nadawi would write a whole book about the biography of Allah rahimahullah. So this person comes to Allah rahimahullah and he said, he's a doctor. He said, I wrote a book of tafsir of Quran. I would like to write a preface for my book. I said, sure. Put it here on my table. I'm going to read it, go through it, and inshallah write something. So this person went back. After a few days, he comes back. He sits in the gathering waiting for him to say something. He doesn't say anything. A few more days, and then he comes back. Still is waiting for Allah Akbar to say something about his beautiful book of tafsir. He's not saying anything. So he reminded him and said, I gave you that book to write the preface. Are you done with it? So I can send it for publishing it? So he said, I read your book. I didn't write anything yet. I want to tell you something, then you decide if you want me to write anything about it. He said, after reading your book, you really corrected one of my major misunderstandings. You corrected one of my major misunderstandings when I looked at your tafsir book. He was very happy. But mashallah, that Allah benefited from my book too, from my book of tafsir. So he said, Allah, what was that? He said, until now I used to think that Imam Hussein rahimahullah was the worst Muslim in the world, but now I realize Quran is the worst Muslim. That even people like you want to write tafsir of Quran. This is zulm al-Quran. If we now look at our time, I think after Quran maybe, or sometime I feel that even above that, the book that is most oppressed and Muslim is the Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari. A person who haven't learned alif ba ta of Arabic language and hadith, he wants to read Bukhari. Why do we have it Khatam al-Bukhari? To show the person have gone through the process of learning the hadith. Now he got to the level where he can study Sahih al-Bukhari. Because Bukhari is the highest level book of hadith. It's not the beginner's book of hadith. But in today's world, Bukhari became the beginner's book of hadith. Every person starts with Bukhari. We had a discussion one day, somewhere with our, you may call it scholars, speakers, whatever. And one of them says something, and I said, where do you get this from? He said, from Bukhari. I said, but brother, you don't know Arabic. How do you say Bukhari? Oh, I read the translation of Bukhari. So you don't even have to understand the book from the language. You read the translation. Does that make it Sahih al-Bukhari? No change. You don't know the headings of the chapter. You don't know why Imam Bukhari presented this hadith, why he chose these specific wordings. This hadith comes from the similar type of chains, with authentic chains, with so many different types of wordings. He chose these wordings, and you read the translation and tell me that you read Sahih al-Bukhari. Isn't this zulm on Sahih al-Bukhari? There was a time when people used to reject ahadith up front and say, we don't believe in hadith. We know that. Everyone that studies hadith knows we don't believe in hadith. But nowadays, they came up with a new method of rejecting the hadith. What is that new method? Have you seen that? When you go out, you will find that out. That there is a new method of rejecting the hadith. What is that? You tell them a hadith, and right away you hear, it has to be da'if. And you tell them, brother, what makes this hadith da'if? Because I never heard about it. I think even Abu Hurairah never said to any Sahabi that your hadith is da'if because I never heard about it. Imam Bukhari would never say to any hadith is a weak hadith because I never heard it before. But mashallah, in today's time, we have not one or two, so many people for whom hadith is da'if because he never heard about it. Isn't that a different method of just rejecting the hadith? Then, maybe sometime, just to find some foundation for them to try to stand on, oh, is this in Bukhari? And so, no, it's not in Bukhari. No, it has to be in Bukhari. But what do you know about Bukhari? Was Imam Bukhari practicing only what's in Sahih al-Bukhari? We just heard Hadith Maulana telling us about how he wrote this book. You just heard it. He's taking ghusl and praying 2 rak'ah salah of istikhara. And then after, of course, going through the chain and everything, once he finalized putting this hadith in the book, then he will do all of this. And then he will write the hadith in his book if he feels like the answer of the istikhara, yes, then he will write it. Do we find that in any hadith that use this method? So, according to these people, even that shouldn't be there. And the whole book is bid'ah. So, really we need to understand what is Bukhari and what is Khatam al-Bukhari. Khatam al-Bukhari indicates that these people have studied the ulum al-hadith, they study hadith, now they know what hadith is, they know the levels of the books of hadith, now they can benefit from the writings of these scholars and benefit from the work of these scholars. Anyway, I just wanted to present this brief introduction of our Khatam al-Bukhari and whatever we do at the end of every year as a graduation, that basically is not just reading one hadith, is a chain, is a connection, is understanding the value of this, and knowing what these things are all about. You go out in the public today, ask them Sahih al-Sittah. Number one, majority of the people don't even know the names of Sahih al-Sittah. Then you ask them, why are they called Sahih al-Sittah? People who have studied a little bit. Little bit means the scholars of our time, who haven't gone through this system. They will say because these are the six most authentic books of hadith. Totally wrong. Does it mean that we don't have other books of hadith that are as authentic as these are? That would be a false statement. So there is a reason why they are called Sahih al-Sittah. Why do you study these books of hadith? Point is, it's a whole system. And in today's day and age, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have preserved our ulama to preserve this knowledge of hadith. Have used our ulama, alhamdulillah. This system is almost died everywhere else. Hardly you will find this system anywhere else. It's that. Remember, it was there all the time. From the time of the authors of these books, this is how they used to teach them the way our mashayikh are teaching today. But then the system started dying. It's just now some people that are holding on to it. And of course, everyone else is trying to kill this system. So hold on to the system as strongly as you can. This is what will keep our traditional knowledge alive. Otherwise, it's just dying. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use us for His deen and to preserve His deen the way it's supposed to be. We are going through, and deen, ummah in general, the knowledge of deen, the ilm of deen is going through very difficult time. As we see all the fitnas. Every fitna is pointing towards deen and iman. What do all these fitnas are about? As soon as you think about when I see the word fitna and I say, look around you, where is the fitna? You know the attack of those fitnas are on deen, on iman. Otherwise, People who don't care about deen and iman, what do they care about all of those fitnas? To them it means nothing. It's fitna because we understand these modules. That's why we realize these are fitnas. You know, Hali, beautiful poet, said a beautiful poem addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, "Eh khasa khasan Rasul waqt du'a." Eh khasa khasan Rasul waqt du'a. Ummat pe teri aake ajab waqt pada hai. जो दीन बड़ी शान से निकला था वतन से, परदेश में वो आज गरीब और गुरबा है। इन हादा दीन बदा गरीबन व सयऊद कमा बदा फतूबा लिलगुरबा फतूबा लिलगुरबा। Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, I congratulate ghuraba who will be holding up to my deen and my sunnah at that time. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah narrated this last hadith without going into too much detail. The heading of the chapter, Babu Qawlillahi wa nada'u al-mawazin al-qisfa liyawm al-qiyamah, talking about weighing the deeds on the day of Qiyamah. The book started with Ikhlas, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Ending up, we all will be presented to Rabbul Alameen, and our a'mal will be weighed on that day. Based on your ikhlas, how much sincerity you have. And if you did everything according to the ikhlas requires amal to be correct and right. If we followed all the other methods, started with ikhlas, did everything correctly as mentioned in the hadith, remember at the end, every deed of yours will be weighed in the scale on the day of Qiyamah. You can consider a deed to be a huge one. We don't know really until Allah will weigh on the day of Qiyamah. So, it's a beautiful reminder at the end that remember, everything you do is going to be weighed in the scale of the deeds. And everything, every word, every action, everything we do will be presented over there. Today we can judge each other, but Allah will judge us on the day of Qiyamah. وَنَضَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطَ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. We will place the scales of the justice on the day of Qiyamah, and all the a'mal will be weighed. As Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the actions of all human beings, a'mal bani Adam, all of our actions, all of our words will be weighed. This is why I was really requesting Hazrat Maulana just to do the Khatam himself and do everything. This is a difficult situation that we get put in, that you have to say something. When I was leaving, Hazrat Maulana called me and he said, you have to come. I had a program somewhere else. I told him, I have to cancel it after Maulana's call. Anyway, now as I'm thinking of going, what should be my intention? Well, number one, obeying our elders, and then getting the company of our mashayikh, and then being present in the gathering, in such a beautiful gathering where, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is blessing so many people with ilm of deen. But at the same time, what could hold my ikhlas in place? So I said, there is one thing that may help me hold my ikhlas in its place. And that is, I want this whole trip to be sadaqah jariyah for my mother who passed away last year. So I said, now I will be scared to make her lose anything. And that will help me hold my ikhlas onto my ikhlas, hopefully inshallah, so that she will get the maximum reward of it. And then of course my asatiza and my mashayikh. So وَأَنَّ أَعْمَالَ بَنِي آدَمَ وَقَوْلَهُمْ يُوزَنْ. All of our actions and words will be weighed on that day. As Imam Bukhari rahimahullah mentioned the ayah where the word qist is used, so he said, وَقَالَ مُجَاهِدًا الْقِسْطَاسُ وَالْعَدْلُ بِالرُّومِيَّةِ. Imam Mujahid says that qistas means justice in the Roman language. وَيُقَالُ الْقِسْطُ مَصْدَرُ الْمُقْسِطِ. And also it is said, qist is the masdar of al-muqsit, وَهُوَ الْعَادِلِ, and that is a just person. وَأَمَّا الْقَاسِطُ فَهُوَ الْجَاهِلِ. This is the beauty of Arabic language. With the change of the form, meanings change. Now those who understand the language, they do understand that how muqsid and qasid, and the meaning change from being just to being oppressor. Some of the forms have, just like in our medication, when you use medication, some medicines are going to increase the blood in your system, and some of them are going to dry out. So if you use this tablet, you will have more iron. If you use this tablet, the iron will be shrinking and taken away. Same thing, forms in Arabic language. Certain form will say that this means that you have a lot of this, and this change in form, it means you don't have this. So Imam Bukhari is saying that if you use al-muqsid, is just adil. And if you use al-qasid, that is al-jahil, that is zalim. And then he gives us a hadith, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Kalimatani habibatani ila Rahman. There are two words that are very dear to Ar-Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala. Telling us our connection with the Rahman of love, Habib and Rahman. Who will be the Habib? You will love Allah. You will be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Habibatani ila Rahman. Two words that are very dear to Allah. What does that mean that these two words are very dear to Allah? Like if you write it on a piece of paper, that piece of paper is very dear to Allah? No. It is encouraging us. If you recite it, you will be loved by Allah. This is Habibatani Rahman. And you will be loved by who? By the one who is having Rahmah on you, who is Rahman subhanahu wa ta'ala. Khafifatani ala al-lisan. Very light to utter them. It's very light to say and utter these words. It's not difficult to say them. You know, when you hear that I'm about to tell you the worship of two words, and they're so important, you think, okay, there must be two long statements and difficult to utter. No, خفيفتان على اللسان, which means you can recite them all the time and any time. ثقيلتان في الميزان. They will be very heavy in the scale of the deeds on the day of Qiyamah. They will be very heavy. Subhanallah. They add weight, a lot of weight, although they seem to be small. But they are very heavy. What are those two words? Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. Subhanallah al-azim. I'm sure we all know these words. We all know these words, isn't it? And many of us know this virtue and many more virtues of Subhanallah wa alhamdulillah. The question is, how much do we recite it? How much do we recite it? After today, how much are we going to recite it? When we take a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when we study, when we learn, when we know, and we come to know a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, always make the intention of practicing upon it. That is the essence of the hadith. So that we practice. Tomorrow, if someone will ask us, yesterday we studied this hadith, how many times did you say Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-Azim today within the last 24 hours? If we are at no number 0 or 10 or 15, we read it in there. So let's put this in our life. Make it a practice that our tongue will be always moist with the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And always, when you look at the virtue of the adhkar, most of them have the word tasbih and tahmeed. Let me just briefly explain this tahmeed, tasbih and tahmeed. Tasbih is to recognize Allah being free of faults. And tahmeed is recognizing Allah having all the good qualities and attributes. And there are only two sides of recognition of Allah for us. For us to know Allah, you know what He is not and what He is. Tasbih is what He is not. Tahmeed is what He is. This is why this contains the full recognition and ma'rifah of Allah. So tasbih and tahmeed really is the summary and the essence of all the adhkar and of all the knowledge of the ma'rifah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tasbih and tahmeed. This is why we see so much worship of tasbih and tahmeed. What is it that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is trying to get us to do? Of course, we know He wants us to recite this kalima a lot. So at least recite it now. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-Azim. And then make a habit to recite it. And go back home and encourage your family members, your friends, your children, your relatives to recite it also all the time. But what is it that Prophet ﷺ is trying to teach us by making us recite this all the time? It's to create a worry of akhirah. That make sure that your worry is akhirah. That everything will be weighed, so keep on adding more weight on the scale of the good deeds. Don't forget that. As much as you worry about your next statement, and I want to make sure that it's always getting higher. Imagine the day you look at your statement and it went 5,000 down. People get heart attack. So imagine we look at ourselves and we did not add that weight on this scale of the deeds. So Rasulullah wants to create the worry of akhirah and love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will be loved by Allah. Very easy, very easy. خَفِيفَتَانِ عَلَى اللِّسَانِ. Very easy. I'm not telling you something that's difficult. And then it will be ثَقِيلَتَانِ فِي الْمِيزَانِ. They will have a lot of weight on the day of Qiyamah. فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. If the scale of the good deeds is heavier, you are successful. وَمَنْ خَفَّتْ مَوَازِينُهُ فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم. The scale of the good deeds is lighter, the other side is heavier. You didn't do good enough. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You lose your soul. It's not you lose your business or your home or you lose anything else. خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم. They lose themselves. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from being the losers on that day. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Inshallah, we'll give the Khatam dua after the certificate distribution. Then inshallah we'll end the program and even the Khatam Bukhari with the final dua. So that mashallah there's people that are on the live stream that are anticipating to participate in the dua. And I know mashallah many of us here want to make sure that we're part of that dua as we learn. It's a great opportunity for acceptance. So there's a couple of awards that I need to inshallah just help facilitate. Bismillah. The first group that we're going to recognize today is those that received honors in the academics program. As many of you may be or may not be aware, we, mashallah, here at IME, there's a whole academic program that will help students in the elementary, middle school, and even high school. So for completion of the academic section, for the completion of the honors in academics, inshallah, if I can just request Sheikh Abdul Hadi, one of the teachers, Hafiz Raji, and yes, these two, please to come forward to help me, inshallah, give the certificates. Just a minute, we're getting the certificates in the office. Inshallah, then briefly after that, we will have the HIB students, and then after that, the Alif students, and then finally, inshallah, we'll end it with the Iftar students on my right, inshallah ta'ala. And so the first couple of the honors in the academics is excellence in the completion of the program. You'll see also some of them getting recognized for excellence in other areas in their academics. Sorry, I'm just reading. Yes, no? What's your bar? So we're gonna just move to the HIBS distribution right now. So if I can request also Mana Saad to please come forward, and also Mana Bilda and Mana Saad to please come forward as we will distribute the HIBS certificates. And just give me one moment to get them. Yeah, let's get Brian. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The first one that we will honor is a certificate of completion of the Tahfiz al-Quran to Daniel Khan, Hafiz Daniel Khan. The second is successful completion of the Tahfiz al-Quran to Hafiz Huzaifa Ali. Can the Hafiz, Daniel, can you say it, please? You can leave the certificate. Just come up to top. The third is Hafiz Rizwan Siddiqui for successful completion of the Tahfiz al-Quran. Just stand right there. We're going to bring it to you. Hafiz Rayhan Siddiqui for Tahfiz al-Quran. Hafiz Ikram Khan. Hafiz Abdullah Siddiqui. Hafiz Shoaib Sayyid Haq. And Hafiz Muhammad. While I call up the next batch, if I request the ulama to help. We have one of the other senior scholars for the church. We have Bob Rizzo. While we're doing this, mashallah, on the girls' side, there's also 3 hafizas that are graduating, inshallah, today. They're getting their rewards and recognition upstairs. Just to let you know what they're getting, although Hufaz are getting a turban, of course, but we've been able to put the IE logo on the turban as well. And alhamdulillah, the imam is also embroidered with the IE logo, alhamdulillah. So this completes almost. Bismillah. Move back to the first segment. I think we're almost done, so I'll just give it a minute, mashallah. Okay, Bismillah. If I could just have the teachers respectfully, that would be, mashallah, Sheikh Abdul Hadi and Hafiz Raghi for this one, please. Mashallah, these are the fast takbir. 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 Allah reward you and accept you, inshallah, please. Jazakallah khairan. For the areas of the academics and mashallah, various accomplishments of being perhaps on time or best committed. So I request teachers again, mashallah, great. Umar Mobile for mashallah, outstanding commitment to salah, mashallah. I mean, all of us should get there, right? Mashallah. This is actually making, mashallah, a great example for others and getting to the salah on time and well, mashallah. Also to Omar Mobile for certificate of honor for his, mashallah, good behavior. And Rizwan Mobile for his commitment to salah as well. This entails coming to salah on time, ready. It's one of those things that mothers maybe some of us don't appreciate, but there's a lot to getting these guys to come to salah, mashallah. Brother Muhammad Ali for academic performance and achievement. Brother Muhammad Ali. Not here, okay, mashallah. Brother Waliullah Salim for mashallah, outstanding qira'ah in the last academic school year. Abdullah Malik for outstanding citizenship in the madrasa.
Not here.
Bashir Isafi. Bashar, mashallah, for outstanding citizenship during the school year. Soban Mirza for outstanding citizenship with the school and other classmates. Muhammad for outstanding citizenship amongst his peers and by setting an example. Mashallah, Zia Mogul for another award for outstanding citizenship with his classmates. Ibrahim Siddiqui for outstanding attendance in this academic past school year. Ibrahim Siddiqui. Rizwan Hamid for outstanding attendance in the past academic school year. Nurul Huda Khalid for outstanding attendance during this past academic school year. Was one? No. If you didn't attend, that would be wrong. MashaAllah. Rayan Khan for outstanding attendance in the past academic year. Rayan, MashaAllah. Bismillah. Moving to the third group, Jazakallah khairan for these students for showing their excellent character and dedication to the school and good behavior, mashallah. We will go to the alim certificates. Inshallah, if I can request, I think we have the other one here, and I will take the alim Sorry. As I mentioned to you, we're going to go back to the academics just for a second. Alhamdulillah, through the online system, there's a group of students that have finished their high school education through an accredited system through the online learning. So we want to take a minute to recognize them, mashallah, for completing their high school. We're giving a high school diploma that is also accredited with the state of Illinois. So we'll begin with Rayan Siddiqui for his high school diploma, mashallah. It's a cool kind of way to graduate high school. Rayan Siddiqui, please. Azhar Ali for completion of his high school studies. Azhar Ali. See, finished high school, doesn't even come. Right. Rayan Khan for completion of his high school. Zia Mogul for completion of high school studies. And Bashar Asafi is here. MashaAllah, for completion of high school through the academic online program. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Takbir. MashaAllah. Getting both Deen and Dunya done here at IE. MashaAllah. Great job, guys. MashaAllah. For the next group, now we'll go to the ulama and the graduating alim. Want to bring us up? To be completely honest. Students that are completing their alim course. Maulana Ahmad Talha Wali Ubaydul Haq for completion of the Alim course. Maulana Nur al-Huda Khalid for completion of the Alim course. Maulana Yusuf Nur Salam for completion of Alim course. MashaAllah, Maulana Farhan ul-Haq for completion of the Alim course. And MashaAllah, he will also be back up as he's also doing the completion of the Iftar as well. This is Ubaydul Haq, MashaAllah, certificate of Alim, completion of the Alim program. MashaAllah, the ulama class. Takbir! Jazakallah khairan. Inshallah, if you can have a seat, I will continue with the last segment. The last segment will be the completion of the Iftar course. And the first three that we're doing are the graduates from 2020 that we didn't get a chance to recognize. So the first one I'll recognize is Talha Wasim, Mufti Talha Wasim. MashaAllah. The second graduate, Abu Ubaida Anwar, graduating the Iftar program. Next one is Dawood Khan, completion of the iftar program. These three will complete the 2020 group, mashallah, of iftar class. The next group that I'm calling is this year's 2022 group. Mashallah, there's 7 of them that have completed this year. First, I'll begin with Mufti Farhan al-Haq. MashaAllah. Next one is Uzaifa Chauhan for completion of iftar course. Next one is Suleiman Hamid for completion of iftar course. Next one is Tamheed Hussein, again for completion of iftar. Next, we'd like to request Yusuf Chaudhry in the iftar program. Next, Abdurrahman Khan for the iftar program. Final graduate in the program, Muhammad Zibzur Rahman.
Oh, they all done? Yeah.
mashallah. This is the class 2020 and 2022, mashallah. Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Peace and preserve them. Gee. Finally, there's a special presentation before dua. Hazrat Maulana Yameen Sahab would like to present something to Hazrat Maulana Salim Sahab.
हज़रत की मोहब्बत तो मैं नहीं भूल सकता। तो कल आते आते मैंने दिल में सोचा कि हज़रत के लिए क्या हदिया दूं। तो हमारे दिल का घर है खाना काबा, तो उसका एक टुकड़ा गिलाफ हज़रत का हदिया पेश करें। अल्लाह कबूल।
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khairan, brothers. You can have a seat. We'll just do the dua. Before we conclude the dua, just words of final gratitude and shukr. Sit here back in your spots. Jazakallah khairan. MashaAllah. At the same time that we were, MashaAllah, doing the program up here, two girls have finished the Alam program. Two sisters finished the Alam program and they were getting their recognition upstairs. And MashaAllah, so that was two from the Hifz side and two from the Sharia course side. So alhamdulillah, there's 4 students from the girls side as well. Alhamdulillah, that brings us to the conclusion of our program. By way of just shukr and thanks, MashaAllah, to everyone that attended live or online. Jazakallah khairan on behalf of IE for coming and supporting. It's so important to have your du'as. It's so important to have your love and concern and support of the madrasa. Jazakallah khairan. On my behalf, thank you so much to my teachers who allowed me to help facilitate and host the program. I'm very grateful to Maulana Sulaiman for allowing me to come and be part of such a beautiful and joyous and auspicious occasion. And finally, we want to take a moment to recognize so many ulama have come from New York, from Kentucky, from Georgia, from Michigan, and many other places that I wasn't aware of, but these are the ones that came to me to know. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khairan. It means so much when our respected ulama come here and support, and their presence means so much. And many of them, MashaAllah, are to my right, sitting here, and others I do see in the gathering. MashaAllah, may Allah reward you all for coming. Finally, inshallah, we'll end with the dua. And this will conclude, obviously, this entire program, but also the Khatam Bukhari part and bring the dua together. So I will ask one of them.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب اليك. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله، لا نحصي ثناء عليك انت كما اثنيت على نفسك. اللهم لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله، واليك يرجع الامر كله، علانيته وسره. لك الحمد حتى ترضى، ولك الحمد إذا رضيت، ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. لك الحمد ربنا لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم لك الحمد كما أنت أهله، فصل على سيدنا محمد كما أنت أهله، وافعل بنا ما أنت أهله، فإنك أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. جزا الله عنا سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. اللهم آته الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته، واجزه عنا أفضل ما جازيت نبيا عن قومه ورسولا عن أمته، وصل على جميع إخوانه من النبيين والصالحين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار. ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. رب ارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديننا ودنيانا وآخرتنا. اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك وغضبك والنار. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. اللهم قنا عذابك يوم تجمع عبادك. اللهم قنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الفقر وقنا فتنة المسيح الدجال. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم أجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن. اللهم إنا نسألك حبك وحب من يحبك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم زدنا علما وفهما وتقى وعفوا وعافية. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا. اللهم اكفنا بحلالك عن حرامك واغننا بفضلك عمن سواك يا واسع المغفرة. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه حبيبك ونبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ منه حبيبك ونبيك سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.